If you've ever tried to maintain top 5% of average steps walked for your age group, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button, folks, and welcome back to another episode of Benzinga's Pre-Market Playbook. It is Hump Day. Happy Hump Day to everybody out there. Hopefully it's not much of a schlump day. We'll see. We've got some more stuff to go through here today. We've got PPI coming this morning. We're going to have Tim Melvin here this morning. We've got the story trading guys coming later. We've got movers to break down. We had earnings last night in Velo and Oklo, and we've got more coming here this week. So we should have a full day for you as we reach the midpoint of the week here. Great to see a whole bunch of returning faces. Benzinga's Pre-Market Playbook, the Wednesday edition for May 13th, 2026, starts right now. Good morning and welcome back, folks. It's great to see a whole bunch of returning faces. I hope the rest of your Tuesday evening was fantastic. We're back here. It is Hump Day now. As mentioned, we got a lot to cover. Trump landing in Beijing as we speak. So we're going to go through all of that. We got a lot of stuff to watch here. We got Tim Melvin coming on here. A lot of really good stuff. Can't wait to get it going. Let's not waste any more time. Peter is first here today. Good morning, Peter. Peter says summer is here. I think the official start of summer is Memorial Day, but and I'm pretty sure that last week or the week before you got 5 inches of snow. So that is awfully confident to say that summer is here. But good morning, Peter. Great to have you back. Congrats on being first here today. And hopefully summer is here to stay. Zach McCracken, good morning. Welcome back. Francis, good morning. Welcome back. Crispy Biscuit, good morning. Welcome back. Yes, that girl. Good morning. Reggie, good morning. It's good to see you again. Robert, welcome back. Derek, great to see you again. Corey, likewise. Good to see you again. Whisk, good morning. Let's go Braves. I'll tell you what, I actually thought it was going to be a great game yesterday. Braves took a 1-0 lead. Cubs punched back and went up 2-1. But that was it for the offense for the Cubs. They won 10 in a row, lost 3, won 10 in a row. Now they've lost 3 in a row again. So you know what that means. 10-game win streak incoming, Whisk. We'll see how it goes. 2 top teams in the NL. Can't beat it. Cat Monkey, good morning. Welcome back. Richard Judge, good morning. Welcome back. And as Richard is reminding us, especially on Wednesday with the camel, please like that stream. Please help us exploit the algorithm. Marionette, good morning. Welcome back. Rokio, good morning. Welcome back. Durkis, good morning. Linda, good morning. Jim, good morning. Bernhard and Unpopular Truth, good morning. Nancy, good morning. Producer, good morning. Locked in. Thank you, buddy. Cameron, good morning. Tyler, good morning. Zach says, Trump lands just as Ryan comes on stealing the show. Well, that's just how it goes. Pro tip, though, I actually got this from Tim Melvin yesterday. I didn't even think about this, so I'm glad Tim had brought this up, but I'll share it with all of you now before he comes on. Tim Melvin said that one of the things to watch from this, first of all, he doesn't particularly expect anything big coming out of this. I guess that's kind of the going thought here. But I expect we're going to see something. But Tim had said that one thing to pay attention to was going to be the reception. Evidently, after the last meeting, Trump had told Xi that he wanted an even bigger and better reception than he got last time. Xi agreed to do that. So if it is the same as last time, or if it is smaller than last time, Houston, we have a problem. Otherwise, we might be in for some smooth sailing there. Now, that's not going to determine what comes out of the meeting. That's just one of the mile markers, if you will, to kind of watch. I thought that was really interesting. So keep it under your hat. Let me know what you see and think, Zach, and anyone else that's watching it. Tyler, good morning. Sunkissed Blondie, good morning. Richard, good morning. Astro Kev, good morning. Liam, good morning. Bavesh, good morning. Cam and Brandy, good morning. Tom, it's great to see you again. Welcome back. Kenneth, likewise. JJ, great to see you. Welcome back. Just passing through, good morning. Orion, good morning. Robot to Trade, good morning. Carlos, C-Spot, and Erkan, good morning. Nikhil, good morning. All right, folks. Let's go ahead and get started with our stock market today. All right, we've got mixed futures ahead of Wednesday's open here. S&P futures higher by 0.25%, plus 0.25%. The Dow futures under pressure here, down by 0.25%. And the NASDAQ leading the way higher, up 0.75%, plus 0.77% ahead of the open. Let's take a look at some cues from last session here and then dive into what the day holds for us here. Healthcare, consumer staples, financials, energy, utilities, real estate, and communication services sectors advanced on Tuesday, whereas consumer discretionary, information technology, industrials, and materials sectors declined. U.S. stock futures were mixed on Wednesday after Tuesday's mostly lower close. Dow Jones futures fell, whereas the S&P 500 and NASDAQ 100 indices were rising. This follows President Trump's visit to China, along with NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang. I know there was some confusion about that, but the company has confirmed. Jensen was also seen aboard Air Force One, so he is attending this meeting here with Trump. Anyway, Jensen Huang, Elon Musk from Tesla, Apple's Tim Cook, BlackRock's Larry Fink, and Qualcomm's Cristiano Amon, all joining Trump. Before leaving, Trump said on Tuesday that Americans' financial struggles are not a factor in his decision-making as he seeks to negotiate an end to the Iran war, saying that preventing Tehran from acquiring a nuclear weapon is his top priority. That was reported by Reuters. Meanwhile, the 10-year Treasury bond yielded 4.46%, and the 2-year bond was at 3.99%. The CME Group's Fed Watch Tool projections show markets pricing a 97.6% likelihood that the Federal Reserve is going to leave the current interest rates unchanged during the June meeting. Now, let's take a look at some stocks in focus here for you today. The first one is going to be Next Power Incorporated. The ticker is NXT. It soared 13.78% in the pre-market on Wednesday after announcing better than expected fourth quarter financial results and raised its fiscal year 27 sales guidance. The company announced it will acquire assets of Zigger Corporation's power conversion business and its U.S.-based subsidiary, Apex Power. Next Power sees fiscal year 2027 adjusted EPS of $4.21 to $4.59. That was versus a $4.76 estimate. They raised their fiscal year 2027 sales guidance from 3.6 to 3.8 billion to a new range of 3.8 to 4.1 billion, and that was versus a consensus estimate of 3.92 billion. The next stock on our list is going to be a little guy. It's Maxite, and the ticker is MXCT. Shares jumped 11.88% after reporting better than expected first quarter financial results. Maxite Q1 EPS came in at a 4-cent loss, but that beat the 7-cent loss estimate. Sales of $9.651 million beat the estimate of $7.298 million. Maxite affirms fiscal year 2026 sales guidance of $30 to $32 million, and that was versus an estimate of $30.829 million. The next stock on our list is going to be Taiwan Semiconductor, ticker TSM, definitely one to watch during this meeting with Trump and Xi. TSM was 1.09% higher after raising its dividend following record profits as AI chip demand drives massive expansion. The next stock on our list is going to be one of our drone players, and it's RCAT, Red Cat Holdings, ticker RCAT. It plunged 10.24% after it priced a $225 million public offering at $9.40 per share. The last stock on our list is an AI infrastructure stalwart. It is Cisco Systems. The ticker is CSCO, and it was 0.06% higher as analysts expect it to report earnings of $103 per share on revenue of $15.56 billion after the closing bell today. All right, let's check out the SPY chart. Hello to anyone I missed. I see my K, Buffalo, Sobra, good morning. Taycan, good morning. And Lion, good morning. All right, let's take a look at the SPY chart. Here we go. We are still up near all-time highs. We'll see if we set a new one here today. The value that we are going after is going to be 740.79. We're currently at 739.82. We did put in a pre-market high of 740.92, but it was very, very quick and we backed off that. So I want to see if we actually set a new all-time high here in the regular session. The interesting thing was that yesterday we actually, if we look inside at the SPY, we can actually appreciate what happened. It looked pretty brutal in the morning. There wasn't a whole lot for us to do. The market was selling off, but the market double bottomed here at about 732 and then just traded up the rest of the day. That formed a hammerish looking candle on the daily chart. Now, the caveat here is that normally these hammers are indicative of reversals, and more specifically, very clear downtrend reversals. Well, that's not what we're in. We are not in a clear downtrend. In fact, the opposite is true. But we did get this bullish looking candle here yesterday. So we'll see what the market does here today. Again, just shy of 740, about right at VWAP here in the pre-market. As noted, the 20-day continues to creep up. And if we pull back, that 20-day moving average should provide support at whatever value it is at. By the way, I have the Trump arrival here on CNBC. They're still on the tarmac, but so far it looks like the reception is warm. So can't derive anything from it yet, but I guess so far so good. We'll see how that all shakes out. Okay, now while we're waiting for all that to shake out, let's take a look at some insights from analysts and go through some more news here today before we get to Tim Melvin. Professor Jeremy Siegel maintains an optimistic outlook for the U.S. stock market and the economy, driven by resilient labor data and the overwhelming momentum of artificial intelligence. He notes that recent payroll reports show, quote, broad private sector strength, end quote, which coupled with steady unemployment means that the Federal Reserve, quote, cannot justify aggressive easing with this level of employment strength, end quote. Consequently, Siegel expects the 10-year Treasury yield to settle in at the 4.5 to 5% range. Despite geopolitical fragility and oil price volatility, Siegel believes the U.S. economy is well cushioned. He highlights that energy intensity has fallen nearly 70% over the half century, insulating growth from energy shocks. For the stock market, the AI boom remains the dominant narrative. We see it every day here. He observes that, quote, the AI trade continues to overwhelm the oil concern, end quote, with tech earnings significantly exceeding expectations. Again, this is as we await NVIDIA next week. While S&P 500 valuations are slightly elevated at 21 to 22 times forward earnings, Siegel points out that once the Magnificent Seven are excluded, valuations fall below 20 times, a level he considers a reasonable long-term anchor. Ultimately, with improving corporate guidance and moderating inflation, Siegel concludes that overall market trend remains positive. So we'll see if we get that. Sounds like we're going to need a couple of things. We'll see what the PPI brings us today. 17 minutes until that data print drops. I will bring it to you. Producer, do me a favor. If I'm rolling through news, I don't think I'll have Tim on yet, but if I'm rolling through news, if you could scroll that across the bottom so we could have that out as soon as possible, that'd be absolutely lovely. But I will cover that as soon as that data print comes out and I get a break from the news. All right, next story here is going to be on Intel. And this has been a massive, massive winner for some of our group. This has just been on a huge run. It is in the news every single day. We've got some more stuff here. I know it's been on a huge run. I know it's trading. What is it here this morning? Let me take a look and see what the price is here this morning. 123 here this morning. Actually, I had a high of just about 128 earlier. So this is interesting, though. This story, anyway, is interesting. Even after this huge run, Dan Niles says Intel is still undervalued. And obviously, AI is the main catalyst there. I'd be curious to see if any of you guys and gals, think that Intel is undervalued. As the artificial intelligence revolution enters the next critical phase, the founder of Niles Investment Management, Dan Niles, is looking past current market darlings, betting that Intel, ticker INTC, is poised for a massive hardware resurgence. While Wall Street watched NVIDIA, ticker NVDA, see its GPUs explode higher during the initial AI training boom, Niles argues the landscape is fundamentally shifting. The catalyst is agentic AI, systems capable of executing complex multi-step tasks across various applications rather than just returning simple chat responses. This transition requires an orchestration engine to organize data, which is exactly what CPUs do best. According to Niles, agentic AI requires 10 to 100 times more tokens than basic chat-based AI. Consequently, the hardware demand ratio, which previously stood at about 8 GPUs for every 1 CPU, is rapidly moving closer to 1-to-1. Despite semiconductor ETFs rallying aggressively this year, Niles insists that Intel is, quote, still undervalued, end quote, on an enterprise to value to sales basis compared with peers such as AMD, Advanced Micro Devices, and Taiwan Semiconductor, ticker TSM. Even though the legacy tech company just recently touched highs unseen since the year 2000, Niles believes its terminal value will drastically change over the next 2 to 3 years. A massive driver for this growth is Intel's push to secure domestic supply chains. Niles expects the company to lock in, quote, a pretty big foundry customers, end quote, by the end of the year, potentially producing chips for mega caps like Apple, Tesla, or even NVIDIA in US-based fabs. Niles does not dismiss the intermediate risks in the broader market, acknowledging that semiconductor stocks are currently overbought in the short term. That's something our group has talked about as well. This comes as the iShares Semiconductor ETF, or SOXX, has advanced 33.47% over the last month and 69.22% year to date. He warned that a 15 to 20% sector correction wouldn't surprise him at all given the current valuations. However, driven by the explosive compute needs of the agentic AI buildout, Niles maintains a strong long-term conviction. And I want to pause right here because this is exactly where I sit, and it also sounds like a lot of folks in our group sit. We all kind of think that there's going to be a pullback at some point. Some of us think it's going to be worse than others. Some of us think it's going to be sooner than others. But it definitely seems like there's a consistent and perhaps also growing thought that we are going to see a pullback here. Long term, though, I still have conviction on that, and I would view that pullback as a buying opportunity. Anyway, for investors Willing to remain nimble through macroeconomic turbulence, he believes this shifting hardware dynamic makes the CPU giant a highly compelling play. Now, Lion here, I don't think Intel's overvalued. Brian, you think the same thing, even going so far as to call it hype. We'll see. We'll see how it performs. We'll see where it goes from here. Here's what I know about Intel. It's been absolutely fabulous to our group so far. One of the better stocks that we have traded here. Okay, next story here, a little bit more context on the NVIDIA CEO joining Trump to China's delegation. I wanted to make sure we got all of the factors out of the way here before we move on, and we're going to do Velo and Oklo next, so just sit tight for that. NVIDIA took center stage during President Trump's China trip after CEO Jensen Huang joined the U.S. delegation, spotlighting the company's pivotal role in the intensifying geopolitical battle over AI chips and semiconductor leadership. CNBC reported on Tuesday that Trump personally called Huang and invited him to join the China trip after media reports highlighted the NVIDIA CEO's absence from the delegation. A source familiar with the matter said Huang flew to Alaska to board Air Force One. NVIDIA later confirmed that Huang joined the summit at Trump's invitation to support the administration's goals. Trump also said he planned to ask Chinese President Xi Jinping to further open China to U.S. business during the meetings in Beijing. NVIDIA continues to face tighter U.S. restrictions on the sale of advanced AI chips to China, where its graphics processing units remain critical for AI development. The company said in February that U.S.-approved versions of its chips had still not received clearance for sales in China. China is aggressively accelerating its push for semiconductor self-sufficiency, aiming to build its own AI chip ecosystem to replace NVIDIA technology and bypass U.S. export controls. A recent article in the Chinese Communist Party's official journal acknowledged that U.S. chip restrictions slowed local AI development, while also recognizing NVIDIA's continued dominance in the global GPU market. Former U.S. Commerce Secretary Carlos Gutierrez said Huang's participation in the delegation carried symbolic importance for both NVIDIA, the company, and the Trump administration. However, Gutierrez said he still believed the U.S. remained far from reaching any agreement with China on AI chip export controls, signaling that NVIDIA could continue facing major regulatory barriers in one of the world's largest technology markets. D.A. Davidson analyst Gil Loria said that growing geopolitical tensions and the global AI race continue to reshape competition among major technology and semiconductor companies, particularly Apple, ticker AAPL, NVIDIA, ticker NVDA, and the China-based AI players. Loria told CNBC on Tuesday that China remains a critical market for Apple because the company still generates more than 15% of its revenue there and continues dominating the premium smartphone segment in the country. He credited outgoing CEO Tim Cook for successfully navigating U.S.-China tensions while preserving Apple's position in China. Loria said Cook's diplomatic approach helped Apple maintain resilience amid rising geopolitical pressure and supply chain uncertainty. Loria said NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang did not need to join President Trump's China trip because the U.S. and China are now competing directly in artificial intelligence rather than collaborating. He said the U.S. has effectively decided not to provide China with advanced AI chips or semiconductor equipment due to national security and competitive concerns. Loria added that China is unlikely to become a major market for NVIDIA in the future, as restrictions on advanced chip exports have already changed the landscape. Loria also said China has advantages in AI through greater power capacity, energy resources, and engineering talent, while the U.S. maintains leadership in the advanced chips. That's something Tim Melvin has talked about as well. Loria describes Taiwan as a key part of the broad geopolitical struggle involving China, the U.S., Russia, and Iran because global semiconductor companies remain heavily dependent on Taiwan semiconductor manufacturing, or ticker TSM, for the advanced chip production. He said Taiwan would likely remain part of ongoing U.S.-China discussions, as Washington seeks to reduce geopolitical tensions while protecting semiconductor supply chains and AI leadership. At the same time, Loria said future cooperation between the U.S. and China may focus only on establishing AI guardrails and preventing direct conflict involving advanced AI systems, rather than broader technological collaboration. That makes sense to me. So again, this is the big thing on the docket here today. We'll see how this all shakes out. And we'll see if we get any news regarding any of these companies. Okay, 7 minutes ahead of the report, 7 minutes ahead of Tim Melvin. That gives us time to talk about a show favorite stock. That's going to be Velo. Velo 3D. This is the 3D printer that designs parts for SpaceX. They also have deals with Anduril and other defense and space plays, and they reported earnings last night, and folks, they were good. Velo 3D, ticker VELO, reported quarterly loss of 20 cents per share, but that beat the consensus estimate of losses for 48 cents, and that was according to Benzinga Pro. Quarterly revenue clocked in at $13.82 million, which beat the street consensus of $9.85 million by 40.26% and was up from $9.32 million in the same period last year. 3D printer and parts revenue increased 60% compared to the first quarter of 2025. That was, driven by an increase in the average selling price, the number of systems sold, and an increase in RPS revenues. And that was from the company. Quote, for the first quarter, we delivered a strong start to 2026 with revenue up 48% year over year, reflecting recent sales momentum and disciplined execution across our end markets, end quote. And that was from Arun Jeldi, the CEO of Velo 3D. Other highlights of the report include the revenue momentum is real and accelerating. A 48% year over year jump and a 46% sequential jump in a single quarter is not noise. It reflects genuine business inflection. And combined with the $11.5 million full rate production contract and the JAMA IDIQ award, the revenue story is transitioning from aspirational to contractually backed. I think that's why you're seeing the market reward this. Gross margin recovery is dramatic and structural, going from minus 73.6% in Q4 2025 to plus 17.2% in Q1 2026 is a remarkable single quarter swing. Management's explanation for this, better fixed cost absorption, higher utilization, and improved manufacturing efficiency, is credible and suggests that this is not a one-time event. The path to 30% plus margins in the second half of 2026 appears to be grounded in operational logic rather than wishful thinking. The balance sheet was meaningfully de-risked as well. The debt to equity conversion eliminating about 70% of the debt, followed by a $50 million equity raise in late April, gives the company real runway to fund capacity expansion. This directly removes what had been a significant overhang in the investment case. Now, headwinds include cash burn as the CapEx guidance of 40 to 50 million for the year and the capacity expansion as it plans to go from about 15 machines to 40 plus by year end, while simultaneously standing up to a new California facility targeting 100 machines is extremely ambitious. However, the conclusion, the shift in Q1 2026 is stark. The defensive crouch is gone. Management is now leaning into results rather than explaining them away. And the voluntary mention of challenges is brief and formulaic, whereas in Q4 2025, challenges were the central topic. This suggests leadership genuinely believes the business has turned a corner or is working hard to project that belief. The financial data largely supports them, though the cash burn and booking pace deserve a closer attention in Q2. So again, we have been talking about Velo a lot. I know 13 has been on this. The tie to SpaceX, the tie to Anduril, the tie to defense is for real. And here's the other thing. I know this chart is a bit goofy, but let me show you exactly what happened here with this. Oh, you know what? I'm not sharing the chart. It would help if I did that. What does Anne-Marie say? Come on, Fred. Yeah. Anyway, here's what I've got for Velo. So we put in this high back in early January. This is Jan 13, 2026. And we put in a recent high here on Friday, April 24th. Simply connecting those points with a trend line gives us a spot for yesterday. And guess what? That's exactly where the stock went to. Now, this morning, we're actually up a little bit more. Stock was up about 21% last night when we were watching this. That took us right to the trend line. If I go to a 5-minute chart and then adjust this chart so you can actually see it, here's what happened. We got our earnings print. We went right to the trend line. We consolidated around it for a little bit. And so far, now we've stayed above that. So I would love to see Velo show up with a gap and go here as we're gapping up on the back of a strong earnings report. Stock is up 25%. Congrats to anyone that is still holding Velo here. This has been a pretty awesome theme for our group here. So good stuff. Okay, 2 minutes ahead of Tim and the PPI. Let me do Oklo here real quick. I know that there are a number of you folks that follow Oklo. They reported earnings last night as well. They posted a loss of 19 cents per share for the first quarter, but that beat analyst estimates of a loss of 20 cents per share, according to Benzinga Pro. The company, I'm going to get my spot here. The company said it used $17.9 million of cash in operations year to date and $359 million of cash for investing activities. Oklo reported a net loss of $33.07 million and a loss from operations of $51.25 million for the quarter. Oklo exited the quarter with approximately $1.6 billion in cash and cash equivalents and $900 million of marketable securities. The company expects to utilize its existing cash to fund construction of its powerhouses, fuel and radioisotope businesses, operation, and growth plans. Oklo noted that it believes its existing cash, cash equivalents, and marketable debt securities will be sufficient to fund its operations for a year. Oklo broke ground on its first Aurora powerhouse in September. The company continues to target the deployment of its first powerhouse in 2028. Now, Oklo has a strong balance sheet with $2.5 billion in cash and marketable securities, and this is giving flexibility to fund that deployment. They have clear execution milestones across multiple assets, including NRC progress, Department of Energy authorization work, and Groves reaching substantial completion in 229 days. So we'll see if Oklo is able to do well or not here. All right. It is 8:30. It looks like the PPI is out and it looks like the market is responding. Let's take a quick look at that, and then we will bring on Tim Melvin here. Here you go. U.S. core PPI month over month for April. Ooh, that number's coming in hot. That is 1% versus the 3/10 estimate. U.S. PPI month over month for April, another big hot print. This is worse than the one yesterday. 1.4% versus the 5/10 estimate. U.S. PPI year over year for April, 6%. That was versus the 4.9% estimate. And U.S. core PPI year over year for April, 5.2 versus 4.3. The prior read was 4, so that's up by 1.2%. USA PPI year over year prior revised from 4 to 4.3. So now they're going back and boosting the last one. US PPI month over month for April revises from 0.5% to 0.7%. S&P futures trading down on this. They are actually giving up all of the gains they had this morning. They are right at unchanged, and they are peaking into negative 0.02%. SPY falling here 738, actually right through 738, 737 and 3/4 now. All right. And thank you, producer, for scrolling that on the bottom. Folks, it is Wednesday, which means it's time for one of our favorite guests. Let's go ahead and bring on Tim Melvin and see how he's doing here this morning. Tim, good morning. Happy Wednesday. How you doing, buddy?
Well, Ryan, much like the character in Casablanca years ago, I'm shocked. I tell you, shocked to find out
that there's gambling going on in here.
Or that there's
winning, sir. Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Or that there's inflation in the system, because we only talk about it almost every week for the last year. Great comment there from Cameron. It looks like Worst may need to raise rates. He'll resist all urges to do that. But you keep in mind, inflation in both CPI and PPI was starting to run hot before we ever dropped a bomb. Right now, we've dropped bombs and we've got very high energy prices. And as you you're seeing in the PPI, energy is feedstock for everything. I don't care if you make it out of organically green, dried grass and weave special vegan baskets from it. You're still going to ship that to market using conventional fossil fuel energy, right? So it's in every layer of the supply chain. So,
and Tim, when inflation was first creeping up and energy prices were remaining flat or down, cited that as, hey, maybe this is one of the reasons why it's not so bad. Now you're getting that to move with it. So
yeah.
That's more trouble.
And I'll be blunt about it. I told you guys that if energy got hot, this was going to be a problem. It's a problem. All right. And if you look at what Goldman and KKR and everybody else has said, and I saw an earlier comment, I think it was Hamid said, I think the markets are correct, but I got to trade what's in front of me. And that's right. Right. The market's been shaking all this stuff off, going higher. But two things: we were underpricing risk all along. Right. Nobody was considering that this could happen. And B, if this thing goes further into the summer, this is going to be a massive problem for the U.S. economy.
Now, you had said, I think when you were quoting a Goldman thing, you had said July, August initially, right?
July, August.
We're not that far away from that anymore, Tim.
No, we're not. And there is no resolution in sight. And quite frankly, if I'm Iran, I don't agree to a damn thing at this point. Nothing. I just take control of the Straits of Hormuz, collect my tolls.
With what are you going to take control of it?
If we're not going to do anything about it, you take it with a couple of motorboats. Right? Okay. So, and by the way, the U.S. intelligence reports that I read last night, and they were leaked out on the internet, as they always do, out of that wonderfully secure building down there in Langley. They've got most of their missile capacity back. So anyway, none of that bodes well with oil prices. And remember the man group progression that I've been preaching to you guys, right? War, higher energy. And this happens every time. They studied it. I'm not making, these not my numbers, man groups. War, higher energy, inflation, higher interest rates, something breaks in the credit market, and the market reprices, which is, if you went to Yale, market reprices means a market crash to the rest of us. Okay. So let's look at some other numbers and blow up a couple myths this morning and talk about some ways to make money. So, because that's way more fun than guessing how this war is going to turn out.
Tim, every time that you cite that report and you start with war and then you have that pause, every time that you do that, I think you're going to say war. What is it good for? And I'm just glad that you don't.
The temptation is always there, right? I mean, because that course came out during the time of Vietnam in the 70s and everything else. And maybe we could use a rousing course of that today, given everything that's going on in the world. Now, one of the really cool myths floating around out there, and it's a story being pushed aggressively, is that as soon as all this is over, gasoline prices are going to drop like a rock. Except it's a cool story. Peter Earle, who is one of the most brilliant economists and thinkers that I know, he is a hardcore libertarian who actually went to the United States Military Academy, which is sort of weird. Got his full doctorate, works for the American Institute of Economic Research. And he said, well, that's an interesting point. Does it happen? And he sat down and he ran the numbers on oil shocks going back, again, decades. And no, gasoline prices do not drop like a rock after shocks. Generally speaking, if all the shock pressure goes away, it takes 6 to 12 months for retail gasoline prices to stabilize. So, if you're thinking, oh, well, this is not a big deal and we'll all just go right back to it, we won't. If the Strait opened tomorrow and all hostilities ended, right, you'd start loading ships. And isn't it funny? Today I have a bad mic. Last week it was a better mic. And
it sounds fine to me. There's one person here that says that they can't understand you, but it sounds fine to me. It doesn't sound any different.
Now, somebody just told me to go back to bed.
Twice, yeah.
Twice, yeah. I don't know what that's all about, but okay. So that's just kind of just blowing up that myth that gasoline prices are just going to go immediately back to normal. It takes longer. It's 40 days transit from the strait to a port to offload and refine it. And then it's, of course, once it gets in, it's got to be refined. It's a much longer process than just flipping the switch and the oil magically flows and turns into gasoline and jet fuel and all that other fun stuff. So anyway, that's just one myth that I kind of wanted to blow up there a little bit. That is because it was sitting there. The other one, Ryan, and we talked about this. Well, let's do this one first because the Fed came out with a household debt trend report yesterday. And the big headline, of course, is that consumers are in debt. We're in debt up to our eyeballs. It's a catastrophe because household debt just keeps rising and rising and rising. It's up to $18.8 trillion. That sounds scary, right? 18.8 trillion. That's terrifying that consumers owe that much money. But it doesn't take into effect that our net worth and our incomes have been rising even faster. So debt service as a whole in the United States is actually closer to historic lows than highs. Unlike the federal government, the American consumer and American corporations got their act together after the great financial crisis. They stopped doing really stupid stuff. They got a little more conservative about how much cash they kept in the bank, and they did not borrow beyond their means for the most part. So we hear all this about housing, but the truth is mortgage credit quality is really good right now. Most homeowners that were able to, and Ryan, I know you did this, refinanced into ultra low fixed rate loans. Millions and millions of these households. This is why we have a housing affordability crisis, by the way. They're sitting with mortgages they've got a rate that begins with a 3 or a 2. They're not moving unless something absolutely forces them to. Like,
Yep.
Ryan, I can't imagine what it would take you to get out of that condo knowing what your mortgage interest rate is.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's really the big thing, Tim. It's really about affordability, right? Like, I don't want to have any purchasing power for an upgrade soaked up solely by an interest rate. Why would I do that?
Right.
Why would I do that?
You wouldn't. Now, there's a couple of pockets of nervous spots in the credit report. Okay. Credit card balances are up, but that's not really a big deal because in the banking system, there's no problem with credit card loans at all. Right. It's totally non-existent. You look at the big bank credit reports and they have these minuscule delinquency rates. When we get out of there and we get to subprime, near prime, and this is primarily in consumers between 18 and 35, now we're starting to get some weakness in the credit card numbers. Same with auto loans, and it's the same age group. Then the one thing that you got to be a little bit worried about, except it's not big enough to destroy the economy, just to kind of irritate a whole bunch of stuff. Student loan balances are roughly unchanged at 1.66 trillion, but more than 10% of them are now seriously delinquent. Right? We had that whole period during the pandemic when we didn't make anybody pay, and instead of setting,
and then all of a sudden you did, and what do you think happens?
Right. Well, instead of setting the money aside like an intelligent American, we did what the normal Americans have always done. We spent right up to the limit of our paycheck, thinking, "Well, this is great. Now we'll never have to repay those." Except that's not how government works. Eventually, somebody was going to say, "Hey, we really need that money back."
Remember when we heard about those stimulus checks, and then all of a sudden there were TVs for the exact amount on sale at all the stores?
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, 100%. I mean, if nothing else, we are reliable. So most of the upper 50% of the United States is in fantastic shape. Right? We're spending a little bit of money, but we're being smart, and we've been much smarter over the last decade, really than any other time that I can remember. And bankers, this has shocked me because normally speaking, a banker will do anything imaginable to add 50 to 100 basis points to their returns. They haven't done it this cycle for the most part. There's been a couple dumbasses out there, but for the most part, they've stayed pretty conservative. Right? So all in all, the credit picture is much better than the headlines are telling you. If there's something that we go, that's a little bit of a problem, younger Americans and poorer Americans are having a real bad time. They're starting to struggle big time. So That's the credit report. Now let's get into some fun stuff that gets us to making money.
Now we're talking, Tim.
Okay, and we talked last night about Ryan, multi-baggers and where you find multi-baggers.
Yep,
And
we did. And by the way, real quick, we actually gave out a scan that will help you find something like a Sterling Construction. So if you missed that, be sure to check out the replay.
Yes. Now let me just get down to where this multi-bagger analysis. And yes, there's plenty of multi-baggers in text. Okay. And the great tech stories, the Amazons, the Nvidias, they're there and they're fantastic. But that's not really the happy hunting ground for multi-baggers, the 5, 10, 15, 20 bagger stocks, or like Sterling, well over 100 bagger. The hunting ground for that, and this is, I've got a research study to back this up with all the numbers and the math, is you're looking for companies that are in solid businesses that are producing lots of free cash flow, trading at a low multiple of that free cash flow, and have really strong balance sheets and excellent business fundamentals where returns are getting better and they're not borrowing too much money. They're not using accrual accounting, just good, solid companies generating lots of free cash flow and trading at bargain basement multiples. This has worked. It's worked incredibly well for a very long time. It is a market-beating strategy in and of itself. You will hold stocks for longer than a couple of hours using this approach. But I showed last night. Now I'm not going to go through the whole thing but in 2019, we just ran through this whole string of stocks that we picked using this framework, and even dipping in COVID and all of that. I mean, there's just monster number of 10 baggers. I mean, just the tease was Sterling Construction, and we also did Micron at $35. So this works. It's not for short-term thinkers, but it really does work fantastic. Now, if we go in and we look, Ryan, here's where the
Tim, let me pause you right there. I appreciate you going off here. Jamrock, one of the viewers here, saying, "Good morning to everyone. I'm new to this channel. Welcome, Jamrock. Glad you found us here. What report is Tim looking at for the metrics that you're talking about?" I don't know if you sent this to me. I didn't see anything.
You know what? I forgot. The credit metrics are directly from the Federal Reserve. That's the Federal Report, Household Credit Report. Pete Earle's report. I have all these right, and I'll send them to you after the show, so you can send them out to anybody that wants them.
Okay.
I completely forgot to send all that out to you last night. So
okay.
Okay, so there's that. Now here's some of the. Now 2 years ago, by the way, this thing was full of oil stocks and home builders. I mean, when you ran this screen, that's pretty much boom. They were everywhere. In 2016, it was full of tech stocks like Nvidia. So, and we actually wrote about that on Real Money at the time and recommended it, not because I knew a damn thing about gaming or anticipated its dominance in AI. It was a really good stock with a great balance sheet, a good business that was trading at a very low multiple at the time. So when we look today, we do have some energy companies on there. Expand Energy is on there. And Expand Energy I kind of like, right? Because this is a natural gas producer. They're in Haynesville and Appalachian basins. And Haynesville, of course, is in Louisiana with heavy exposure to LNG. And a couple of weeks ago, the Energy Information Agency here in the United States came out with their longer-term energy outlook. And by the way, if you're interested in energy, you should always be checking EIA.gov. Don't take it as gospel. There's always, like under the Biden administration, they had a horrific renewable bias. So you got to watch bias, but the numbers are good. And they just said, look, the electrification of everything trend is here, not going away. Add in AI, energy demand is going to keep going up. And the big winner, drum roll, natural gas, because renewable is not capable of handling all of the capacity that needs to be added right now. So Expand Energy sitting here, it's a $96 stock, but it's
what's the ticker?
Oh, you would want that, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
EXE. Yeah, trading at 6.
Well, sorry, I think I had a network issue there. What was the ticker?
EXE.
Edward, got it. Yeah. Sorry about that. It looks like I had an internet snafu at the same time. So
no worries at all. So, I mean, it's just sitting there. It's extremely strong balance sheet, great fundamentals, trading at 6 times the cash produced by the business. So, and we're using enterprise value to EBIT here. All right. That gives us all the money that's involved in the company, debt, equity, all the financing, preferred, everything. And then earnings before interest and taxes is the cash produced by the business after accounting for depreciation and amortization. Because as Charlie Munger once wisely pointed out, if you don't think depreciation is a real expense and you're a business owner, hang on a couple years, you'll learn exactly how much depreciation costs.
What was the quote? If you don't pay for it today, you will certainly pay for it tomorrow.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that's the exact quote. And actually, he had some expletives thrown in there that this is a family show, so I won't. I won't say that kind of garbage on here. But bunches of
As he proceeds to call multiple people dumbasses. Anyway, keep going.
well, dumbass is more of a term of endearment most of the time. So
Fair enough.
then you've got Unicorp, another oil and gas company, Oppenheimer Holdings, which is a perennially cheap stock. But it gets a little more interesting in here this year because we are starting to see just an absolute ton of M&A in the brokerage space. So that might be it might be time for Oppenheimer to fall to the M&A axe because it's certainly been out there for a while. So anyway, that's just kind of looking. And there's not as many stocks right now, by the way, as there are at market bottoms, which is in and of itself a statement. One of my favorite stocks, and just anytime there's a bad market, you can count on the fact that I will be buying shares of Star Group, SGU. SGU rolls up home heating and propane distributors. It's genius, right? This is a great business. It's usually mom and pops, so they just deal with the mom and pops that are getting into their 60s. They're they put their kids through college. They're doctors, they're dentists, they're in finance. They're doing something else with their life besides running that propane business and fixing furnaces and all that dirty, grimy stuff that makes the world go round. So mom and pop are like, well, this is everything we got. We kind of want to retire. What do we do with this? They sell it to Star Group. Star Group has just rolled this up. They're continuing to do it. They're very price sensitive. They don't overpay. They pay a fair price. And then you get economies of scale, right? Mom and pop are dealing one-on-one for, a few thousand gallons. Star Group's buying a few million. So you do get some economies of scale. And they have been smart. They've been geographically concentrated in the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic. If you bought one in Texas and one in Maine, this wouldn't work so well. But this thing just sits here generating cash, pays out cash, very generous dividend, 5.45%. It is an LP, so all of you sissies who are scared of 10Ks, you probably shouldn't buy this one because it is definitely, you're going to get, and never buy this in your IRA because they definitely have business income, so unearned business income. So that's just kind of where multi-baggers live. But there's another way to use these multiples, and that's by switching out. And this is a market crushing system that I've been using for over, the Petrovsky F-scores didn't come along until 2000, the study came out. But the same basic principles of strong balance sheet, good fundamentals, cheap prices. But we use price to book. Price to tangible book instead of enterprise value to earnings before interest and taxes. And this thing, quite frankly, just blows the door off almost anything else out there. The compounded returns are outrageous. It wins far more years than it loses. It works because nobody believes it works. All right, ask anybody. Book value's dead. It doesn't matter anymore. Stocks trading below books are all dogs. Little tiny bit of truth to that. A lot of stocks below book are dogs, right? They're below book and trading below asset value because they're headed for the scrap heap of history. Their products outdated. Think buggy whips, think CD-ROMs, things that have just absolutely been replaced and they're not needed anymore. No matter how good your company is, you're headed for the scrap heap. Companies that borrowed way too much money, diversified into bad businesses, mismanaged the cash, whatever the reason is, they're headed for the scrap heap. However, when we add those filters of the F score and the Z score, we play garbage man, right? We take all of the garbage out. And so now we're only looking at financially viable companies. And when we look at this one, it's a very short list, but you've got some businesses in there like Bassett Furniture. I'm a big fan of Bassett Furniture. It's been BSET. I mean, it's been around for a long time, and obviously they manufacture, market, and retail home furnishings. Very generous dividend here again, 5.54%. Very sleepy stock that nobody's really thinking about or cares that much about. Someday you're going to get up and look, and the stock will have doubled. And it's, at a nice, if you look at it technically, it's, in a pullback and, just kind of sitting at the lows. So
a double takes us to a trend line that I just identified on the daily, but that's neither here nor there.
Yeah. And then you've got New Lake Capital Partners that is New Lake is NLCP. This is a REIT that is providing real estate capital to state licensed cannabis operators through sale leaseback transactions. The cloud over that is that someday weed will be completely legal, and the distributors and pharmacies will go away to just whatever they call them, distributorships. Dispensaries, that's it. By the way, if you've ever been outside a dispensary in Florida, that is really educational because it's a bunch of 75-year-olds with arthritis and a bunch of 50 to 60-year-olds who are still living in the 70s, stoners. So it's just this very cool mix of people.
Real quick, this stock did when we had, it was mid-December, when we had the reclassification of marijuana headlines that moved the entire cannabis sector.
Yeah.
This stock participated in it. I'm glad that you brought this up because I'm not sure we pulled this up or even talked about it when we were doing that.
Yeah, and here's the thing.
They attended the regulatory summit at the end of April.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a good mention, Tim.
Yeah, and look, they're good. They're a player in the industry. The industry is whatever form it's taken, it's going to go on. They've got a first mover advantage now that they've been in there lending money to people in the business. The yield on this thing may come down at some point. Because you're not going to have elevated rents and elevated risks associated with a federally illegal drug. Banking services, a lot of things will change, but they still own real property, and we're buying this for less than the value of real property. And again, I'll use Florida as an example because it's the one I'm most familiar with. We don't have that many distilleries. Well, we do, but they sell the THC hemp products. But looking at legal weed in Florida, the dispensaries were in industrial parks. They were in strip mall shopping centers. I mean, this is real estate space that can be reused and released, and you're buying it for less than purchase cost minus amortization, which is how book value in REITs is determined. Mm-hmm. So again, it's probably going to take some patience. It's probably going to take a while. You're going to collect some cash while you're waiting, but at some point, the value of that property will be realized, whether by sale, whatever it is, market re-rating. So there's a great deal of upside potential there. All right, I only got 5 minutes left, so I'm going to use it wisely. In case you haven't been following along, I'm a pretty big fan of Hong Kong and have been for a while. We have a significant portion of my portfolio in Hong Kong. And one of the things that I have noticed is that there's a firm there called Brilliance, and Brilliance is a value kind of manager, fundamental value. They kind of look at things the same way I do, and they buy ADRs in the United States. Right, because I imagine they have some U.S. clients, even though they're based in Hong Kong. So they filed their 13F. They're an early filer. And these guys, I'm not kidding. Now, over the last 3 years, they've averaged 50% a year. They're one of the top performing funds that will file a 13F.
What's the ticker?
This isn't a ticker. This is an investment manager. And I'm about to tell you what they're buying.
Perfect.
Okay, ready? Here comes the ticker parade. YMM, Full Truck Alliance. That is a trucking firm in China. The stock is extremely cheap at this price. Very interesting purchase on their part. BZ, Kanzun, it's an information technology company. They do recruiting in the People's Republic of China. The symbol here is BZ. Yes, BZ.
And we know this one because eventually this is the ticker that Benzinga wants.
Aha. Okay, then there's Lexin FinTech, which is LK, which has showed up in every Asian value portfolio on the planet.
LKFN, Lakeland? No.
Yeah, no, LX, just LX, Lexin FinTech.
Okay, you said LK, so.
Sorry about that. Okay. Maybe I should go back to bed.
That was a nice way to tie that together, Tim.
And you can see this.
Oh, that's too good.
The stock has been something of a disaster over the last few years, but I mean, it is dirt cheap. It's trading, huge discount to book. Actually, despite the fact they had really strong user growth in the quarter, earnings are rising, not falling. They are profitable. And they do consumer loans in China, which, okay, that might be a little bit of a tough business, but they are profitable. PDD is, of course, everybody knows PDD if you follow China at all. Unity Software, which is a U.S. company that makes gaming software, but has a whole bunch of other uses. And that's kind of what the story is in that particular stock. And again, it's trading at a very reasonable multiple. Their software powers mobile gaming, and that's kind of the initial interest, but it also does simulations and enterprise and industrial visualization. So you can use it for things like industrial design. There's a gazillion defense applications, immersive computing. So there's a whole bunch of really good stuff going on in here. And there's been some short-term disappointment. So the stock's been available at kind of a bargain basement price. So we like that.
We've really had 25s kind of marked off here as a really, really key level. Former support, turn resistance, now hopefully support again. Stock is at 26.84, range here all the way up to 50. So
see, it's just the beauty of the way these things works. I'm really good on the fundamental side. Ryan's much better than I could ever be on the technical side. So, just like that right there, you just picked up, I'm outlaying the fundamental case, and he immediately laid out the fundamentals of it. Very cool thing for the morning show. All right, I'm running out of times, but Futu Holdings, FUTU, they own, and again, I hate the business. I'm just going to be honest, but the numbers say buy it. So they own a digitally native brokerage and wealth firm. They're doing tokenization of financial assets throughout Asia, basically. So they are a strong financial firm, not just a brokerage. They're growing like an absolute weed, and they represent the forefront of the digitization of Asian capital markets. And think of it as almost similar to Charles Schwab and retail investing in the United States back in the late 1970s. So that's also a very cool holding out of that. So I am out of time. And that is all I've got for this morning. Yes, LK was Lucan Coffee. This one was LX. So
Nikhil, thank you. He took note of the tickers as well. I did the same thing. The tickers that you just mentioned, Tim, even though we ran through them, they are in the chat for anyone that is interested.
Very good. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And
and Tim, one more thing. I gave out your pro tip that you gave out yesterday about the reception here that Trump is going to get from Xi. I don't know what to bench it against, but so far it looked okay.
What was my specific quote last night?
Your specific quote was,
if it's a bunch of school children when he gets off the plane, it's going to be a problem.
And that's what it was.
It was a bunch of school children.
Okay.
Ta-da! Am I reading too much? Am I reading too much into it? No, I don't think so. But I don't expect a whole bunch out of this summit, to be honest. I think there's going to be a bumping of heads here.
Yeah. Okay. And then one more thing here, Tim. We've talked a little bit about some of the huge winners. Tom here wants to shout you out from the chat that your Oscar Health is doing extremely well and actually at a potential breakout spot right here.
Yeah. Thanks, Tom. I told you guys all along, and I told the guys on the morning chat, and I told everybody in trade alerts, look, the stock's down. Do not sell the stock. The fundamentals are too good. And eventually they will be recognized. And that's what we've seen, right? Because the knock on Oscar Health, and I'm going to be real quick and get out of here, was health insurance is going to change. We're going to get away from the, Obamacare and the ACA. And these guys are a player in it. It didn't matter what the changes were. Their technology is so far ahead of everybody else's, they were going to be a player in whatever came next. So, and that remains true. That stock has massive potential.
Okay. And Tom owns it at 13 on your recommendation. Well done, Tim. Well
all right.
Don. You've had a lot of winners recently. We appreciate it.
No problem. Hey guys, thanks a lot. I'm now I'm not going to go back to bed no matter how much you wish I would. I'm going to sit here and come up with some more devious stuff to share with you guys next week. Thanks.
That we call that a tease in the business. Tim, you're the best. Have a good rest of your Wednesday. All right.
Thanks, guys.
All right. That is Tim Melvin. More information, more studies, and I'm sure he will send me that. So if you guys are interested, just shoot me an email. Happy to get it there for you. But Tim's departure leaves room for 13. Day traders rejoice because it's movers time. $13. Good morning. How you doing, boss?
I'm doing just fine. Having a pretty good morning. The sun's out. Things are looking good. How are you? How is everybody in the chat? Good morning.
I'm doing really good. Just had a great sesh there with Tim. We broke down Velo's earnings, which were awesome. But we've got more stuff to do here. So where is it that you want to start? You want to start with the movers list? Or did you have any individual name you wanted to go over first?
No, let's just get through the movers.
Perfect.
It seems like it's just a list of things we've all traded recently. I'm not seeing anything particularly new or interesting, but things are moving, so we're going to try and trade it.
Okay. Do you have a list, or can I start at the top of the movers list? I've got FCHL here.
Yeah, I have that one at the top.
Okay. So FCHL, this is Fitness Champs Holdings. This is a Singapore company. Stock surged over 44% in the after hours amid pump and dump fraud allegations. Okay. That's the catalyst that we have here. Absolutely lovely. I part of me doesn't even know if this is right here. It says it's got a percent of float shorted of 97.77%. I do see that the float has changed here. So if that float reading of 1.21 is accurate, maybe that's
because of a 30-for-1 reverse split on May 30th.
Okay.
4th.
May 4th. So this so the short, we did get a print that was effective. Anyway, it has high short interest. The days to cover, however, is very low. So it's actually only at 1. Now, the rest of this here, 1.2 million shares in the float post the split. On average, it trades 600,000 shares. Today, it's done just shy of 20 million. What are we thinking here, 13, on FCHL?
You pointed it out. This is moving on pump and dump fraud allegations, and we also have a high short interest. And I think that's really the majority of why it's moving here.
Okay.
You do have an interesting trend line with all the price action we've had since the after hours yesterday. So if you're looking at okay, you already got it. Perfect. That's what I'd be looking at here. So that's going to be our resistance to the upside. It looks like that $2 level, if we want to put a number to it, that looks like the spot we need to clear in order to go on this run again. Support's going to be down. If not the 65 EMA, then it looks like you have support down at 175. You did have a brief, about an hour, where you had trading fall underneath 175, and then was recently recaptured and ended up resulting in the current pre-market high. So if we do end up coming down, which it looks like we could, because we've just lost VWAP, those would be the next two support areas, the 65 EMA and 175. And if we end up losing those, maybe, just maybe, there's support at 160. But it's already looking like this may not have a long life today.
Good. All right, good stuff. FCHL, good breakdown there of the catalyst, the share structure, and the chart. Next here, we have AEHL, and this is Antelope Enterprise Holdings. This was a big mover yesterday. Shout out to anyone that was trading this. And this is, like you were saying at the outset here, this is one of those stocks that we have traded recently, and it is back here again today. So perhaps a relative value move with that. Let's check the news and see if there was anything fresh here today on this. I don't have that. So it looks like maybe just continuation. Okay, 13 is blessing the same thing.
It's continuation of their genius plan that they announced earlier. Hold on, let me go back to the stock here.
Yeah, real quick while you're doing that, nothing on the short interest here, right? Less than 1% of float shorted, 1 day to cover. On average, stock trades 7.7 million shares done, almost 21 million here today versus a float of 2.6 million. So, all right, what do you got here, AEHL?
Yeah, I don't know if there's anything that is really moving this since then. Maybe that 13G that was filed this week. I don't really think that's what's going on. I think we're seeing just a continuation of their genius plan they revealed on Friday, and that involves share buybacks and they were talking about how they've received recent gains. Anyway, I think that's really what it's going on. If you look at a daily chart, you can see that since we got that news, we've kind of been hovering up above. Sorry, let me go back to the chart here and get you that actual price. But we since that news came out, we popped up and we've been kind of holding this area that we popped up to. Now the 50-day SMA. Sorry. So we've popped up and we've been holding the 50-day SMA, and now I think this move today is just the attempt to get that next leg up to that consolidation area back from February. Don't know if we're going to get through that. That consolidation area is going to be from about $2.85 to $4. But what's interesting is that the stock is the moving averages, the 20 and the 50, are starting to curl up towards each other. The 20, if it crosses the 50, is going to be a silver cross, and that could be bullish catalyst for further upside. So for today, if we do manage to get above that 285, and that consolidation is where we're going to run into a bunch of resistance, and the breakout spot of that resistance is going to be 4. So we'll see if we end up getting all that, but I don't know if that's going to happen today.
Okay. All right. Good breakdown nonetheless. That is AEHL, some continuation from yesterday. Okay, real quick, the next two stocks here are actually ETFs. It's NBIL and NBIG. These are the 2x levered NBIS daily ETFs. That's why they're at the top of the movers list. But if we look at the actual underlying here, which is NBIS, this has been a big AI play for our group. Nebius Group shares are trading higher after the company reported Q1 financial results and raised its contracted power guidance. Stock is popping here by 16+%, up just about 30 points here in the pre-market. The percent of float short on this one, 20%, 3.8 days to cover. High on percent of float short, elevated on days to cover, but not quite at that high level yet. On average, stock trades 16.5 million shares, done 4.3 million here today versus the 200+ million float. What do you got?
I wanted to point out that TDIC, the one that we were joking about yesterday, ended up going on quite a run, as so many have recently after the show ends. These movers that we look at just go, okay, are they off? The stream over? Okay, let's go. And that's what seems to have been happening lately, is that they just run right after or sometime later on in the day. So these movers that we're looking at here, folks, lately, if you're still trading throughout the day, keep an eye on these, because they tend to go on runs later on. And now here we have TDIC trading higher above yesterday's price action. What's also interesting is here, if you're looking at a daily chart, it's a little bit of a trend line that you can draw from April 7th through the April 24th high and the most recent high from yesterday. A little bit of a trend line here we're trying to sneak past. So I think that's going to come into play here today as well.
Got it.
That's pretty much it. And I don't really have a whole lot more to add. I think this is pretty wild how we're seeing this extend here. I don't think there was any new news to continue driving it higher, but higher is where we're at. Now, be careful, because it looks like in the pre-market here, we may have kind of topped out. Let me just double check that. So that 370 area looks like that might be about where the price is going to go for the time being, unless we get a recapture of VWAP. If the price does manage to come back above VWAP, which I currently have at 310, maybe we see this go on another run that takes it up to 370 and higher.
Okay. All right, good stuff there. NBIS and TDIC. All right, let me clean something up here real quick. Selena saying, big IPO this AM, CBRS, Cerebras Systems. It's actually tomorrow. They priced today, Selena. It is open for trade tomorrow. Jay, you got that one right. It is open for trade tomorrow. Okay. Next on the list, what else do you have?
Just a response for Joe. No, the joke I made yesterday was the only joke I had. I don't think I was really going to top that one. So that's about as much as I was thinking about the joke for TDIC.
Okay. Next one here on the group, or good Lord. Next one here on the list, rather, is going to be VNet. Ticker is VNET. This is VNet Group. This is a Chinese stock. VNet Group shares are trading higher after the company announced that PJ Millennium Limited and PJ Millennium 2 Limited entered into a share purchase agreement to purchase from the sellers in aggregate of up to 650 million Class A shares at $144 per share. That's equivalent. Okay, so that share price is going to be the Chinese share price, I believe. It is equivalent to 8.69 for the ADS, which is what we're looking at here. VNet is the American depository shares of that. So the price to pay attention to here, 869. That is where they are going to purchase the 650 million shares. Stock is up 25%, currently at 1132 here. A quick peek at the short interest, 21.79%, 6.84 days to cover. Folks, that is high on both metrics. High on both metrics. On average, the stock trades 6.5 million shares a day. It's done 4 million here today. Float is just shy of 160 at 158.7 million.
I think it's a good idea to put an 869 horizontal line there just to see, if there's any significance to that. And when you look at a daily chart, there kind of is. Or a weekly, or even a monthly. I mean, geez, this was 869 area was pretty close to support back in 2011 and to 2013.
Horizontal light blue line is your 869 area. You can see exactly how good that looks on the daily. You're right. Here's the weekly 13 right again, and monthly. That's the trifecta, baby.
Oh yeah. It seems like and it's I don't know that I'd have to read into this some more to see if this agreement went through, because it seems like it's coming right off of that level as if the deal already happened. But I'm just guessing it right now. So.
Okay. Anything else on this one? Do you have any others on the list that you want to go over?
No, it just seemed like there was a whole bunch of stuff that we've already traded before, and now and then after those, the amount that they've moved kind of really falls off. So I think what we've looked at here today is probably what we want to stick with, unless there's something else that folks think.
I just want to review a couple more from the list here. Wolf Speed, the number. I don't have this myself. I don't trade this myself, but I know a number of you folks have traded and mentioned Wolf. Both of them, frankly, but this is the WOLF. This thing, really big pop up towards 78 here. Now, we've bled a lot of that back. We lost the VWAP. We used it as intraday resistance. So all of that stuff that we see out of some of these big morning pops is the case here. I don't have any fresh news specific to this. So this is just kind of moving pretty crazy here. The other one I wanted to mention, you mentioned TDIC. The other one I wanted to mention here is EOSE. This is EOS Energy Enterprises. These shares are trading higher after the company reported better than expected Q1 EPS. The only problem with this is that impulse move coughed up the VWAP. And again, we couldn't get back above it. We would love to see that. Haven't seen it yet. Quickly, your stats on this one is the stock holds higher by 23%. Also high short interest, 30.3% of the float shorted, 4.5 days to cover. So not quite at that 5, but only a stone's throw from it. So maybe we get some squeeze action here. 335 million shares in the float. It's already at its average volume prior to open. So we'll see what happens here with EOSE. We talked about NBIS already. And then the other one here that the chat is mentioning is MRAM. And MRAM, this has been one that we've traded before. I actually still have some levels marked off from one of the other times that we've traded this. Here's what the daily chart looks like. Semiconductor, memory, those stocks, they got vertical walls on the daily chart. MRAM, no different. 50 prints here today. Stock is up 13+% here today after being up 10.5% yesterday. Again, no fresh news on this. Just seems like this is just trading with memory names and semiconductor names. Big pop here today. 4% of the float shorted, 1 day to cover. already nearly at its 100-day average volume, and its float is 22 million. 13, do you have anything here on MRAM? This is another one that fits into the theme that you were talking about, where there were stocks that we have been trading, and we're just trading them again. Actually, it looks like this trend line that made this triangle, let me try extending that. Wasn't quite. God, I thought that was going to be real close to lining up with that, but not quite. Not quite. Anyway, I'll just go ahead and extend that. I'm sorry, I'm just rambling. Do you have anything on MRAM?
No, it's just, being that this is, one of the semiconductor spaces that I think I'd be careful with this one and all the other semis with that Cerberus IPO coming. I get the sense that we're going to probably see some profit taking, maybe some exits happening just to make room for that IPO and maybe some of the other IPOs. So I don't know if this is happening for sure, but I just think that it's good to be cautious up here with how extended this is and with that event looming.
Okay. All right. Good stuff there on MRAM. I don't think there was anything else off the list, so we can turn it over to the group here. This was brought up here, and I talked about this on the Stocks in Focus. Another drone play here. We've got Ondas earnings tomorrow. Got my fingers crossed, and I'm praying, believe me. Hopefully that goes well. Our cat here, though, this thing sold off yesterday on an offering, and actually looks like we're dipping even more here today. So our cat, which has been another good drone player, especially for our group here. Oh, boy. Let's see, where was that? Our cat announces the pricing of a public offering, 200 million in public stock.
And
so that's
that's 940 a share, which is where we're down at right now.
So we're literally right at, you weren't kidding, we're right at 940 a share.
So okay. I guess the question is, do we turn around right here?
Yeah, is this a potential bounce spot? And then I wanted to, speaking of bounce spot, I wanted to highlight something here that Jay had mentioned earlier. Let me see if I can scroll up and find it. I couldn't fit it in at the time, Jay. I'm sorry about that. No jokes, please. But I did want to kind of cover this here. Jay is saying a hot PPI and the market still won't sell off. And I want to get what you think about this, not just you, but other folks in the group here. The market has been extremely resilient, and dips have been bought. And this is the dip that we got on the PPI print. That was not a good print. We've already bounced off this somewhat. Is anyone looking for a potential bounce trade here on SPY? I mean, I think back to yesterday, we gapped down, we were weak all morning, and then we had the piece of news really that kind of coincided with this turnaround. But that actually made for a great trade. Do we see something similar here today?
Was that a question to me?
It was a question to anybody, but you're the only person that can actually answer with voice. So I guess, it is what it is there.
Sorry, I didn't know I was getting a question posed.
It's not. It wasn't for you. I can keep moving on if you have nothing.
I was just going to ask Jay Rice. What was the question? TSM earnings were great. Were you referring to why I think there could be some selling in the semi names? It's because we have that Cerberus IPO. That's the only reason, not because of anything else, really. I mean, maybe because some of these names are extended, but I just get the sense that there's going to be capital and it needs to be raised for that IPO. It happens tomorrow, and selling some of the biggest runners would be something I would expect. That's all. Nothing else.
Okay. All right. What do you want to take a look at? What stocks do you folks want to take a look at? There are several of you mentioning ones that were on the list here. So SLS, this came from, who was this? Why can't I see it anymore? Anyway, someone asked about SLS. I can't find the comment here. I don't know. I'm blind or something. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, SLS Life Sciences Group shares are trading higher after the company reported better than expected Q1 financial results. Stock looks like 650 is going to be your resistance there. We can always come back to this. Chicago Realtor, you're taking a look at Chegg. This is popping here. The stock has been really tough. Really tough. Maybe it's bottomed here. We'll see. Here's what the news is on Chegg. Fresh today, Chegg to apply its data expertise and network of subject matter experts to training and evaluating AI models. Okay.
I don't know what the question was with SLS, but it looks like in addition to their earnings results, they also provided a corporate update. So there may be something else in there that worth looking into. Looks like there's a lot of information regarding phase 2 and phase 3 trials. So I don't know if that was what the question was about, but there's a lot more here than just earnings, it seems.
Okay. All right. 13. I need to get up and step away for just a sec. Can we look at a stock either that you want or that the chat wants to look at?
What does the chat want to look at?
Chat's got AAOI, DGXX,
Actually,
Microsoft,
AAOI.
INFQ.
Let's look at AAOI because that
You
one,
got it.
that one I noticed was on a bit of a move here as well.
Okay, you know what I'll do here? I think let me leave the daily chart on because I know we kind of take a longer term approach to that. All right, I'm going to get up. I'll be right back. Take it away.
So it looks like, and I don't know if this is the only reason why it's moving here today, but it looks like there was a number of leveraged ETFs that were released, I think yesterday. And one of those includes a leveraged ETF, AAOG, which is the 2X long for AAOI. It was this one. You also have a leverage ETF for Seagate, SanDisk, Ciena, Caterpillar, Honeywell, Applied Optoelectronics. That's this one. Applied Materials, Eaton, which is one of those big power switch names, and then Coherent Corp. So whole bunch of new ETFs, and I think that's one of the reasons why you're seeing AAOI go here is because they just had one, and I don't know if that's the only reason. I just don't see any other news that would, I think, cause this to move. So I would lean on that. But as far as the company goes, and let's look at the chart individually here. This has been, I'm sorry, it's a 5-minute one. This is put in, we hit 200. We hit 200 yesterday. Fantastic. If this does come back in, because that candle that we had yesterday looks like there was a little bit of weakness toward the end of the day, which I think was pretty much the experience for a lot of the market. If this does come back in, it looks like you have support at 190 initially there, but if that doesn't hold, then I would say 165. And
Don't worry, it's good timing. I'm back.
All right. But yeah, so I don't know if you caught that, but AAOI now has its own 2X leveraged ETF in addition to a whole bunch of other names. So that ETF is now, its ticker AAOG, Ryan.
And it looks like it's also got AAOX, which is a 2X levered ETF long. AAOG, that is that's one of them. And then AAOX.
Yep. Seagate got one.
Yep.
SanDisk got one. So did Ciena, Caterpillar, Honeywell, Applied Materials, Eaton, and Coherent.
Even more ETFs. Lovely.
Yeah. More ETFs probably on the market, I think, right now than there are stocks.
Marco Smith, we actually just took a look at Wolf Speed a couple of times. We also don't spam here, so please don't continue to spam the same message or you'll be finding a different show to go to. Is there anything else that you folks want to take a look at here that we have not yet covered? DGXX. Okay, we've got a couple of requests for that.
Another one that we've traded previously, I think this month. Earlier this month we traded this.
Yeah, this was a recent one. Actually, now this has earnings in 2 days here. So this is going to be Friday morning before the market opens. I don't have anything fresh on this one. This is another one of those that has been one of those traders that we have kind of traded here together. It actually just ripped through that resistance area there from the previous high, about 670-ish. You have anything on this one, 13? Chart-wise or anything?
Well, I was just looking if there's any recent news, and I think the most recent news that's I think driving this is the upsized at the market equity program to raise money for data centers. I think that's what's driving this higher. Looking at the chart, we did have a breakout because you still have that. I don't know if you've got this longer term trend line. You might not if your chart doesn't go back to 2021. But in February of 2021, we had this big spike that took it up to somewhere in the 14 handle. I don't know if this was a pre-reverse split or anything like that either, but we have a high from February of 2021, and I drew that trend line from there to through the high of November of 2025, and we just broke out of that earlier this month. I would expect at some point soon that we backtest that trend line, because this move here on the daily chart is now over 91 RSI, and I think this is going to have to cool back off and come in. And if we get that cooling and that back test of this trend line that we just broke over, that means that we're probably looking at about a $6 print if it comes back down here. Then I would watch for that bottoming, because the next move is going to be higher. So okay. That's what I would be watching for with DGXX is to come back in and back test the trend line that it just recently broke out of.
Okay. That is a Canadian company, by the way. And then one more thing here on EOSE. We kind of briefly talked about this. They reported earnings here. But as Akonda Williams is mentioning here, they also partnered with Cerberus. So there's another piece of news here for EOSE. EOSE and Cerberus Capital Management announced Frontier Power USA to deploy American-made long-duration energy storage at scale. So in addition to the earnings, you're also getting that. Of course, Cerberus reports IPOs tomorrow, opens for trade tomorrow, prices tonight. So we'll see what that does here. Okay, 2 minutes till we open.
And this is EOSE
is your ticker.
Okay. Because I was just looking up some other names that they're partnered with. Is Bit Digital or Innovium a company that they have a ticker for? I'm just looking at some of the or Innovum. I mean, I'm just looking at some of these companies that they're partnered with. I don't see that. There's TerraSoft, AlphaSense, Meta, IBM, Amazon Web Services. That's a lot of these partners for Cerberus. So if you're looking for a trade there when this IPOs.
I am definitely interested in this IPO. I don't have any allocation put out for it, so I'm not going to get any of it. But I don't think that I would necessarily be opposed to trying to trade it or scalp it tomorrow. We'll see. We'll see how it all shakes out here. Jay saying, Ryan, free food and soda with your PGA ticket this week. I wish I had tickets. I don't drink soda, but free food. You had me at free food. Enjoy it if you're going there. And let's see, we're less than a minute till we open. Let me flip over to the main workspace.
Yeah.
Let's get ready to rip.
Looks like FCHL currently getting support from at 65 EMA. AEHL, we just had a pop back over the VWAP. I don't know if this is going to continue running after we open. And looks like Wolf is also trying to get back over the VWAP as well.
I'm excited for the World Cup too, Lion. I got my shirt and everything. I'm ready to go. All right, yes. We are open, folks. We are open. First move here on the SPY is down.
All right, let's just watching some of the names that we were looking at there.
I'm seeing a thing here. Kevin Warsh confirmation set stage for major Fed shakeup as the Clarity Act advances in U.S. Congress. Well, a lot of the Bitcoin folks were all waiting on that Clarity Act there. Velo through 18. Yep. Nice pop on Velo.
Velo through 18. Still waiting for 20 on this. Nice move this morning. That took out all the price action from the after hours on the print there. Really happy this one. Yeah, really happy about this one. Love this little company that's trying its damnedest to make a name for itself in the aerospace industry. I think there's a lot more history that's going to end up being written about this here, but still a long road for this. They expect that they'll have positive EBITDA later on this year. So I think their growth expectations are pretty reachable.
Okay, pop and drop there for Velo. We'll see where it settles here. We started retro with the register ring. Captain Cloudy up 400% on MU calls bought last night. Lion, Captain Cloudy, cashing in.
TDIC is moving over the VWAP right now, trying to also get over the 330 level. That appears to have been a pretty stiff resistance level all morning and in the after hours. Not too many closes above that. A lot more rejection than closes. AEHL coming up to
I was just going to say
a trend line. I don't know if you've got this drawn, but I drew a trend line from the highs of yesterday through the highs of the pre-market, and that gave us a little target, which takes us to about 350 today. So maybe we'll end up hitting that there.
Target acquired on the chart.
There you go. FCHL, this is losing the 65 EMA, coming back in. Looks like Velo isn't finished yet. Wants 19. Come on.
Let's go 13. Let's go 13. I want to
there we
hear
go. There's 19
with 20 prints
going higher. 1930. Look, I know I've been talking a lot about this one, so I'm pretty happy about this movement.
Likewise. It's been a good one for our group. MBIS, watch a possible move through 210. AEHL set a new high from that pre-market recent high and pulled back in. Good morning, Amanda. Copen, nice move out of the gate. Let's go.
Okay, there's $20 in Velo, target acquired. Man, and we're going to halt. Nope. I'm sorry, we're not. No, it looked like we were going to halt there for a second. The price
are you closing up here at 20?
Oh, I'm definitely taking gains. I'm not out yet though.
Okay.
Taking a lot of gains off the table. This is just
that's how it's done. 13. You know fantastic. What? Register ring for 13 there. I'm gonna stick in here for at least for today.
And you know, I'm probably gonna let a little bit of this run. And if it comes back in, fine. I'll just add more. But you know, because I still love the space theme, and I think it's strong. I mean, look at Rocket Lab. That thing's been on a tear. Is that still up? And
here, I'm sorry, I'm bringing it up. I wasn't as fast as you. That's up almost 6% here, 13. But the other thing is we talked about, as far as Velo goes, we talked about the SpaceX IPO being a potential catalyst for that. Maybe you sell the news. We're not there yet, so we'll see how it ends up shaking out. Several of you folks mentioning Apple. Apple, we talked about this. Big Mama is back. 296, going for 297. I think a 300 test is coming here pretty soon with Apple. Giddy up. New all-time high. Mark, bringing the register on Velo. Let's go.
Excellent. Looking forward to that list, Jay. Looking forward to that. All right, Velo really coming in.
Yeah, I am too. I'll even save that in my platform and name it Jay's robotics list. What did you have for 13? What ticker were you looking at?
Oh, I would just say Velo is coming back in, trying to get some support from 19.
Wolf Speed, WOLF through the VWAP. That VWAP was at 68.60. The pre-market high, 77. Wolf.
Fly is another
that got mentioned
name
in the chat. Yep.
I don't know. I haven't looked at it today, so I don't know if it's up, but that's Firefly Aerospace. This one, I think we should keep an eye on. Did they already have earnings? I think they may have. Yes, they did last week, last Monday, it looks like.
Yeah, May 4th.
Yeah, so I don't know what the catalyst is going to be that takes this through this trend line, but if you can see back to you should be able to 2025 August, where we IPO'd, that high from the IPO with the trend line drawn through the April highs gives us a bit of a trend line here that I want to see get taken out. So that means a breakthrough through the $43, $44 area.
I'm cleaning up the trend line a little bit here. I drew it a little sloppily, but here you go, 13.
Yep. And then Jeremy Cornwell, not going to lie, you bought some puts on Rocket Lab. Hey, you know, I don't blame you. I mean, this thing has been a literal rocket, figuratively and literally. So we are coming. There is a trend line here that I do have, and I've drawn it from the October 2025 high through the January 26 high, and we've almost hit that level. So I expect that when we do hit that trend line, I'm not, so keen on this blasting through it as much as I am the price finding resistance there. So it's going to be at about 130, and I think we could see the price come back in. So I don't think that's a bad idea, the puts on Rocket Lab.
And that's, I mean, even a regression back to the mean will make that trade pay. Here's NVIDIA. Aslaf mentioning NVIDIA to the sky. This is a breakout. Remember, we saw call buying earlier this week on NVIDIA and actually last week. That is ahead of the earnings next week. NVIDIA 226 new all-time high here today.
Well, I got to look and see what's going on here with Cooler. That's up 10%.
Your AUR up 4% again. This looks like it might try and break and go for 8, which I believe you talked about before.
Yes, give me 8. Yeah, so Cooler has earnings tomorrow after the close. They are seeing some nice moves up. I don't know if this is on excitement over their upcoming earnings report. I don't see any recent news that would cause this to go up. They do have some short interest. They're actually within the short interest parameters for a squeeze. 22% of the float shorted, 7.42 days to cover. Yeah, I don't know why this is going up. If you're going to try and trade this, just be careful. Just be careful with this one.
Also, Lion here saying MU's coming down a bit. If it retraces, I will go long again. Lion, let us know what level you're looking at for that. What level are you looking to maybe go long again? Or if you wanted to put it another way, how much does it need to retrace in order to interest you in that long? Let us know. Maybe 755. You let me know.
A lot of sellers in Velo right now. Taking your gains up at 20 or near there is probably the best thing you could have done for yourself.
I mean, that was a big earnings pop, big pop out of the gate. Liked it.
I'm actually, just gassed up about how it kind of went right to, it went to 2010, but it hit my target. Like it's almost if it was listening.
It's nice when the stocks listen as opposed to disobey.
It was just such a Murdoch moment.
Murdoch moment.
It was a Murdoch trade.
Sorry, really quick. Lion, thank you. Your reload area for MU 775 to 780.
And as you're talking there, we just got a test with AEHL on the 65 EMA. It reversed, went through VWAP. It is trying to climb up to the trend line that we mentioned earlier. Here we go. Another great reversal here with AEHL.
330, the next spot there.
Yeah, right off the 65 EMA. Fantastic.
Set a new high there of 337 and pulling back. AEHL. Boy, some of the movers actually working here today. I love it.
Oh, yeah.
Apple 297.5. Pan W crushing 218. Bitcoin actually testing 80K on the futures. So let's see if Bitcoin breaks lower here. Bitcoin pulled back from 81.5 earlier today. And the VIX sitting at 1832.
I don't know what I'm going to do with myself. It's such a wonderful morning. Bellow back to low. Yeah, it's going to pull back. But I still like it. And this may still have, more room to go as we get closer to that SpaceX IPO. And we also have the Starship launch that's coming. It looks like they've confirmed that they're going to launch on the 19th now. So they just recently, like yesterday, they rolled back the Starship launch vehicle and the booster to the mega base for inspection after their wet dress rehearsal. So looking like everything's on track. And if there's no hangups on the actual day of the launch, it's going to take to the skies. And we could see some of these other space names get a lift with it. Lift off, I should say.
So Baba reported earnings here today. This actually went red-green on earnings. It's Alibaba.
FCHL. So it was one of the things I was talking about earlier is how the 65 EMA and the 175 area are going to be a couple of support levels in addition to the 200. We saw a bit of a move down through all of that, found support at the 200, and we are turning around and recapturing everything that we just lost, including the VWAP, coming up to resistance now, just over 2. Still want to see if this can push through all that upside resistance and go higher beyond 2. that trend line that we drew. I don't know if you don't have it. I just drew a trend line from the after hours highs through the pre-market highs.
I can draw that here.
And if we're going to get up there, that means we're going to likely see prints of about 240. But we need to get through this resistance at like 205, 206.
Okay, there it is on FCHL. Remember, AEHL went through that and immediately came back in. SPY is trying to bounce here off 637. Let me know, is anyone taking a market bounce trade here? I know we got an ugly PPI on the back of an ugly CPI. Feels like the market should probably be down more than it is, but is anyone trying to play the bounce? Take that as a no.
Sorry, I was just reading chat, but no, I don't have any commentary there. All right.
SPY starting to trade up there. Okay.
Looks like we're getting a recovery in fellow. It's coming back up to VWAP. Not going to hold my breath on a VWAP recapture. I mean, everything that I wanted out of this morning already happened.
That's what we call the stress-free trade, when you put your feet up.
Nobody wants to see my feet up.
No one wants to see them. I'm not talking about seeing them. I'm just saying, in the privacy of your office, stress-free trade here. Well done out of the gate there.
Oh, excellent. Amanda, thank you. Amanda is in SQQQ right now, so taking the other side of that tech trade.
Yeah, and the bounce here, at least so far, looks like it might be fading a little bit. We'll see if we end up printing some new lows. We did lose 637 to the downside, although we're basically right there.
I just don't think it's a bad idea to be, taking some profits and, protecting yourself. We are kind of extended, and we do have some, that IPO coming. Here comes TDIC back over VWAP again. Do we go on another run?
AEHL basically right at VWAP. Here's TDIC 13.
Yep. 340. That's the big resistance area right now. There's a large seller in the way. If we get enough volume and take that out, we could spike up into a halt.
Carlos, Ryan, Joe, I have VNet, and do you see an uptrend to 12? An uptrend to 12. Well, it almost hit 12, right? Yeah, so it almost hit 12 in the pre-market. We're actually taking out that pre-market high right now. This is definitely in an uptrend. So I guess what you're asking is, can 12 get hit here? I mean, I would say, yeah, probably. I don't know for sure if it's going to do that. Let me see if we had anything else here from the daily. Yeah, I mean, I still think 1250, probably the next area there. I think it's possible. I don't know that it's going to do it. Sure looks like it wants to push higher from here.
I can see 12. That certainly looks like that's a resistance area, and we've hit it before earlier this year and traded above it even for several days. I think I would say that, yeah, I could see this happening. I really like the double bottom we're coming off of here from the April and May lows. Nice moves through all of these moving averages to get to where we're at right now. I'd say it's possible, but it seems to me like even if we do get up there, you're going to be met with selling. That would be my expectation. Now, maybe there's a lot of volume that comes in and helps us blast past through 12. But just looking at this in a historical context, 12 has been the site of a lot of selling. So that would be my expectation if the price manages to get up there. Palantir is sinking.
It sure is. Palantir, it actually traded up out of the open and immediately reversed and is sinking.
Still think it goes to 90.
90 targets still good there. Palantir. Yeah, Jay is saying stay away from big splits and citing Carvana there. They haven't been good. The big splits haven't been good, or the stocks have not traded well after that. VNet, higher it goes. There you go, Carlos.
Didn't
continuing to pull ahead of its earnings? Oh, brutal.
Didn't Carvana have a reverse split recently? Yes, they did. A 5-for-1.
Yeah, that's what he said. Oh, did I? I probably didn't read that. I'm sorry, but it was a 5-for-1. Stay away from big splits. That's the part that I read. Sorry.
Okay, because when I heard you say that, I thought that he was referring to forward splits, like large forward splits, like you would get with for example, CMG, that big forward split. Maybe he is referring to all kinds, but this is that the other direction. Help me out, Jay. Are you referring to all splits or just kind of forward splits?
Bitcoin lost 80K while you're waiting for Jay there. Brazali saying, what are your guys' thoughts on Amazon? I love Amazon. Should I consider adding it? Remember, we cannot advise what you add or sell from your portfolio. We are not licensed. We cannot do that. I do like Amazon, though, to answer the first part of your question.
Oh, I'm sorry. It is a forward split, this one for Carvana.
Ed wants to take a look at CrowdStrike. See how CrowdStrike is doing here today.
TDIC still trying to hammer that same 330 area. Still not able to get through it yet. VNet still climbing higher. Looks like it's making a run for 12.
1183 is the high that I have. 12 definitely seems like it's coming. CrowdStrike here, this popped out of the gate, but immediately pulled back with the market pull here. I didn't see any news on this. This went green to red on CrowdStrike. This also up near a resistance area on CrowdStrike. I know this is one that folks like for cybersecurity, but possible double top resistance area here, CRWD.
Velo taking another shot at recapturing VWAP. Yeah, I know. We've been going over so many reverse splits. I just had that mentality. You're right. It's a forward split. Velo climbing higher, back over 19 now. Once all the sellers did their thing, all the buyers like, we good? We good? Execute the buy order.
Bitcoin continuing its break through 80K. Tesla pulled back, that went red. Costco is at the highs, 1040-ish. Good old Costco.
I get the sense that we very well could. I would lean into that expectation.
What expectation?
That we finished red today.
Oh, is that from the chat? Oh yeah, Amanda from the chat. Yeah, I feel like we finished red. Certainly, it felt like we were going to finish red yesterday too. SPY trying to bounce. Don't know if I trust it yet though. How did Rigetti end up doing? RGTI.
That's probably a good RGTZ trade right now.
I was just going to think that myself. So this is crazy, 13. The 2150 area that we talked about, stock ran up to that in the pre-market, reversed, and is now going lower. I'll tell you what, that spot worked for entry again on RGTZ.
Crazy. And now we're losing the 20-day SMA, which has been a pretty good support level, for the past 2 or 3 weeks. Yeah, certainly risk off with Bitcoin going under 80K.
Just want to see if the market feels like it can find footing at all, because we've seen plenty of good bounce trades once it does that. Got to be patient on it, though. Can't play every possible bounce. You get faked out quite a bit. Bitcoin not helping, though, to your point, 13.
Yeah, VNet, by the way, 1184 is the current high. Not really liking that 5-minute candle it put in to get there. It looks like this could start to weaken. It's not doing it yet, but
Well, I hope Carlos gets his 12 before it does that. Bob says he's loving RGTZ. Bob, you know what that means?
Excellent.
That means you're getting a register ring, because that is something that we have talked about on the show. I'm loving that you're loving it.
And this is the power of these leverage ETFs. They're great for day trading, and especially if you don't want to hold the underlying.
And it works nicely when we have a spot that the underlying behaves with. That actually really helps us make quality entries on some of those names. I'm seeing Nokia come across the option scanner as well. I'm seeing some call buying even into the pull here on Nokia. Nokia is still up 3.3% after the gap up.
Thinking about it, so pretty much it'll be trading with about the same amount of multiple that most tech companies trade, right? Looks like we're getting a move here in AEHL. It's trying to get back through its VWAP. Watch for expanding volume there. It may make another attempt going up to the trend line we drew. TDIC, same thing, trying to hold above its VWAP.
EOSE trying to bounce off the 200 EMA on the 5-minute.
MRAM getting a rip, says Reginald.
BABA at the highs. What a reversal on BABA from the pre-market. MRAM you were mentioning from Reggie?
Yes.
That's also a nice little pullback to the 200 EMA and then bounce.
And then JD Labs wants us to look at Meli, if we could, MELI.
Okay. Marvell at the highs. Indeed, I think Jay was mentioning this. I think Marvell hit a new high this morning, 180. What a winner Marvell has been.
Mercado Libre.
All right, let me go to my bigger chart for Mercado Libre. Indeed, Jay was correct on the new high there. Let me go to the chart tool and pull up Meli.
I'm wondering with this one, because this is the largest, I guess this is what, help me out here, Chad. Is this basically the Amazon of Latin America? Just kind of wondering. Yeah. If it is, I could see this continuing to come in a little bit more, but maybe finding some support just under 1,300, like somewhere between 12, I would say 1,250 and 1,300. There may be the support area that we're looking for. That would kind of be my expectation. Let me take a couple other measurements here.
By the way, VNet back up towards the 1189 high. Carlos, let me know what you do there. If we get closer to 12, it sure looks like it's going to try and make a final push up there. Thinking about it, I'll get to your possible MRAM or DRAM, possible MRAM sympathy here. I'll get to that in a sec. Let me just finish up with Meli with 13.
Yes, it is the Amazon of Latin America. Okay. Gosh, that's not a good looking sign. I guess that's kind of where I'd be at right now. Between 1,250 and 1,300 is where I would be looking at support, because this is a pretty significant move down through the 50-month SMA. So I get the sense that there's going to be some attempt to come back up, and there could be rejection. And if that happens, it looks like you're going to get a rejection at around 1,600 if we do get that attempt to re-enter the 50-month SMA. So if we don't, and it reverses soon, I would think that upon that rejection of the 1,600 area, we could end up going down to that 1,250, 1,300. That would be my expectation for the price action. But to me, this looks like it's potentially heading lower, following a bounce. I would say this does bounce though.
And then JD, your spot there on 1100. I mean, if it printed that, I'd also be looking for a quick recapture of the 1245 100-day moving average. You would definitely want that.
Let me look at this 1100 level. You can blow up another chart if you want to look at something else. I'm just
all right. I'm going to go back to the main workspace here. Carlos, VNet hit 12. 1201 was the high. It actually pulled right back from that spot. Carlos, did you close it? Did you book partial? Do I give you a register ring? Let me know.
I don't think your 1100 target in Meli is off. It certainly would be another support level beneath the area I was looking at. That's where I would go next, to be honest. But I think we're both in this in agreement here that this looks like it's heading lower. So I guess that's about the battle I've got. It looks like we are going lower. 1250, 1300. That's where I think we see support. You looking for 1100? I think that's a secondary level of support.
Selena mentioning that Starwood STWD in a strong buy zone. Selena, I totally agree with you on this. I've actually been adding to Starwood the past couple of days. I buy a little bit every day. I would probably do that again here today. Carlos, profit on VNet. Let's go. Another register ring.
Awesome.
The group is killing it here today.
So we're getting asked about inflection. They
INFQ.
I believe they have earnings tomorrow. Let me double check here. Yes, they're going to report their first quarter 2026 financial results on May 14th after the close. So that'll be certainly something that I'm going to be wanting to see. This is a name that I am in. I do like some of these quantum names, but I think this is one of the better ones. So we'll see what we end up getting with that earnings print.
I'll tell you what, if it can move back through 1375, 14, that area right there, you might have this thing ran to 20 the last time it did that.
So I would actually like to see this just, easy setup for me. I want to see this just get back over the 20-day SMA. That's kind of been the big resistance that it's been dealing with.
What value do you have for that 13?
I have 1348.
Okay.
As the 20-day SMA, and since we lost that level on April 28th, haven't been able to recapture it. But we've been moving sideways and holding above the 50-day SMA. So I want to see this. I want to see a break over this 20-day SMA, soon. I think that it would certainly take us up towards 16. Maybe we go even higher beyond the most recent highs and test this trend line here. I don't know if you've got it on your daily chart, but from the IPO, I'm sorry, not the IPO, from the when it merged in February, because this was a SPAC, in the Friday, the April 17th high, that gives us a bit of a trend line here that if we are going to test it again, it's going to be at least $22, $23
added. So Amanda go ahead.
That'd be my target, but I do want to see a recapture of that 20-day SMA. I think that's paramount.
Amanda asking about Oklo. Did Oklo report earnings? As a matter of fact, it did. And it was not all that great. Down 6.5% here today. You can see after we broke out of this descending wedge, it was actually pretty good. It kind of traded sideways. Now it actually looks like we might cough this back up. And I did Oklo's earnings here in the news segment, Amanda. I know you weren't here for that. They posted a loss of 19 cents. That was better than the 20-cent estimate. And then one other thing that was in here. Company said it has used $17.9 million in cash. Oklo reported a net loss of $33.07 million and a loss from operations of $51.25 million for the quarter. Has approximately $1.6 billion in cash, though.
The company is currently navigating regulatory hurdles because they don't have a facility that's generating revenue now, and they're not expected to until at least 2030. So it's just positioning itself for accelerated deployment and growth in the advanced nuclear sector. And all that positioning just costs a lot of money. So they are going to continue to lose money. They're probably going to end up having to raise it down the line. So I think the whole excitement over this has kind of subsided for now. $80 is going to be your big resistance area. We double topped there recently, and now we're losing the 20-day SMA. I would think that the 50s day SMA is coming up next. I don't know if we're going to hold that support. My gut tells me we aren't. I think you're going to see better support down around maybe $50.
Good stuff. Just started a covered call campaign on them. Okay, awesome. Awesome.
Lots of different names. Okay, so I gotta get to UNH because I know Joe's been asking about that.
SPY at VWAP. You want me to go to a bigger chart for UNH?
Sure.
Probably. Yeah, let's do that.
So this having a nice recovery. We're on a verge of a golden cross here. It looks okay, and we just recently. I guess we already filled that once. We're coming up to a resistance level. It's a bit of a trend line that I've got in addition to the 500-day SMA. Oddly enough, it is at 420 that we have that resistance. So if you want to draw this trend line at home, I used, and this was to measure the breakdown that we were going to get, because it looks like this was getting really heavy back in 2024. And I was anticipating some kind of a breakdown. So I drew a trend line here from the low of June 2022 through the low of April 2024. And that gave us a level to watch for as the price was starting to come back in April of last year. And we broke right through this support area. This was very similar to how I was looking at the Activision Blizzard trade. It was looking heavy as well, kind of showing resistance up at particular levels, and they were kind of rounding off. So it looked like they were all using the same support area, and this was only a matter of time before it would lose that. Same situation happened here. That lower end trend line ended up being lost. Now it's resistance, and that's going to be and it's going to be interesting to see what happens up at 420, because that's where this trend line is going to be at when the price reaches it.
The way I drew it, 13, was just a little bit different. I could probably fix it by putting it right there. I can't get it right to 420. So,
and you might also have no, you don't have log clicked, but yeah, it's
no. Here it is. No. I adjusted it. I got it at 421. That's good enough.
There you go. That's pretty much how it looks for me too.
Okay, and then I wanted to get to this because thinking about it has been very, very patient. Thank you. WB, here, let me actually pull this sticker up. It's going to be an OTC one, right? WBTNF. This is $395. This is Weebit Nano. Next gen memory play, high density, low cost, in-memory computing, low power consumption, retains data with the power off. Which is actually pretty interesting. So you like this one here, huh?
So it's
Australian stock. Interesting.
Not okay. So this is okay. So this is a different kind of RAM, resistive RAM. It's that's a bit new for me. So it doesn't seem like it's got that that volatility that you get with traditional RAM, where when you turn the power off, everything that was in RAM is gone. This sounds more like it has flash properties. Velo over 20.
Indeed. New highs on Velo 2040.
Let me see here, because I don't want to, not talk enough about this. Looks like they just, okay, that was earlier this year. They just regained compliance. I would be curious as to what all those licensing deals are they got last year. Interesting name. And it's also interesting because one of the things that we had as a conversation in Happy Hour a long time ago with regard to these chips, and when NVIDIA was still on its historic run, we had started exploring the idea at some point, there's going to be a bottleneck or several bottlenecks about this being able to get meta chips, and people are going to be looking elsewhere for something that's just as, or close to being performative, but maybe costs less or consumes less power. And we're seeing a lot of that now. And this really seems to lean into to that theme as well. So, lower power, cheaper chips, and frankly, just more chip making capacity. That seems to be what we're going to, what the tech sector is driving towards. Check out. Go ahead.
You were just about to read it. Here's the website that Thinking About It is saying to check it out. I'm sharing it on the screen. I threw the link to that in the chat. All right. Back to pro here. All right. What are we missing there? That's it. All right. I'm going to go back to the main workspace here. SPY at VWAP. We'll see if it tries to move through VWAP here.
So Bello hit 2040. That's the current high for now. Still might get a little bit higher highs here. It's looking pretty good. Starting to get a bit of a spread going here. If this does continue climbing, we may end up seeing 22. I'm keeping a little bit on. Don't know what if I wasn't expecting 20 to be the final stop, but that was my target.
The other thing here is, let me actually see if I can see, this is the other thing that Velo has done here today. With this move, we actually broke through this trend line. So part of me wants to see if this can actually gear up for another move higher.
I want to see a back test now.
And a hold, back test and a hold. Yeah, you're spot on with that. You're spot on with that.
FCHL, new regular session highs now. Still not above the pre-market high, but very, very close.
And getting to that trend line, 13.
Yeah, it is. Looking for that trendy. Wolf, no longer leading the pack. This has dropped down dramatically over the past 15 minutes, losing the 200 EMA on the 5-minute in the process. Yeah, VNet, congratulations on that 12 print. It went right to 12, and then it turned around and sold a little bit. Still, it's trying to climb back up, but when I look at the price ladder, you can see that there's a very large seller in the way at 12. So,
good job executing your plan there.
Great job.
Carlos, yeah.
And if this is going to go higher, then it's going to need significantly more volume up at 12 to get through that seller. A fantastic morning. Good job, everybody.
It really has been. Is 800 the resistance in Micron? Gosh, I feel like we've given Micron levels a million times. Yes, I would say you could probably also add the all-time high in there. Let me actually get you what that exact number is per the chart here. 818 is what I just had on there.
Bullish flag on Cypher says fake beat. I'll take a look at Cypher while he's doing that.
It's just this thing. 818.76. So 800 and 820 is probably where I would put those resistance areas. Which one? 13, sorry.
Cypher.
CIFR, got it.
Yeah, fake beat was bringing that one up. Now I don't know which time frame you're looking at, but when you refer to the bullish flag, I certainly see that on a daily. Looks like we're still trying to resolve this bullish flag, and if it does resolve like bullish flags do, we're going to see prints above 25. But it's just taking some time. Tell me the time frame you're the 390 minute. That's a new one for me.
I was gonna say, oh, that's funny though.
Yeah, I don't have a 390 minute chart, unfortunately. I'm looking at the daily right now.
What's your time frame? Well, I use the 26-second chart all the time, and it's got this crazy formation on it. It's like, okay, guys.
Looking at a 5-minute chart, it would seem to me that 21 is a pretty standout resistance area that is up next. And if we do manage to get through that, I see 2150 as being the next area. And it looks like you may have some, you have these areas of support and resistance every 50 cents with this particular stock. But 21 and 2150 really do stand out on a 5-minute chart. Excellent.
All right, let's go back to the main workspace. Let's see what we got here. We are, 19 minutes ahead of story trading. Been a decent morning so far.
TDIC.
I'm saying that tomorrow.
TDIC. So we didn't draw this, but they had a bit of a trend line here from the after hours high through the pre-market high. And we just broke out of, or we're about to hit this trend line here. We're coming right up to it.
I got it on screen there for you.
Yeah. Boom. Just about to hit it. This is TDIC. Now, if we do manage to break through this, if it doesn't get rejected, which it looks like it is, But if it manages to the price to break through this trend line here, we could see it print as high as $3.80 to $4. We'd want to see a back test of this after that, and we want to see it hold support at about 350. If we get all that, it may end up coming back up and going higher than the 4 print.
Story been kicking butt lately. Yeah, they have. Yes, they have. We love it.
An influencer talk about a 3.5 hour chart, and so everything fell into during after hours. I mean, I don't understand that one, but if it's work, here's the thing I'll say: if it's working for somebody, they're being successful with it. Who am I to judge? I'm not going to start using their their strategy because it's I don't want to hurt my brain. But if it's working for them, then fine. It works.
That's what I tell everybody. So the same thing, 13. If you find something that works for you, keep doing it until it doesn't work for you anymore. Mm-hmm. There's not necessarily, that's what's so great about this business too. There's not necessarily a right or wrong answer. I mean, look at Brian. Brian here is saying, just sitting here asking how I keep getting stopped out of shorts after 2 hot prints. I understand where you're coming from, Brian. It feels like the market should be down more than it is. It isn't. You're trying to trade that here, but it's not working. Whatever works, right? Whatever works is what you should be doing. And we had who was it? I think it was Chris last night. Check me on this, 13. I believe it was Chris from the happy hour last night. Had a brilliant saying: "Don't predict, participate."
Yeah.
So don't predict what the market is going to do. Instead, participate in whatever hand the market hands you. And I think that's brilliant.
And if you're participating in TDIC, you're participating well. Here we are coming up to those very levels that I was looking for. Now we're getting that pull. Hopefully we get a back test of this trend line that gives us all the price action I was saying that we were looking for here. But so far, looking like we're getting a little bit of that. Went up to almost 390. Real quick here, BYND. I know that we get this asked a lot about. It's had a good few days. It looks like it's coming off a double bottom, but still facing resistance at the 200-day SMA. Maybe this climbs up to 80 soon. The double bottom is notable. I'll admit that much, but I don't think that there's real big enthusiasm for this a meatless option, unless maybe there's something with that army meatless option for combat situation. I don't know if that's going to have anything, but that's what I'd be watching for with BYND. If we can get back above that 200-day SMA and tap 80 cents, looks like the big resistance area.
Herman, take care of yourself. Liberatus was asking, Ryan and 13, we've had incredibly low volume the last 2 months. I've yet to find a satisfying explanation for this. Do you have a theory? So I don't know that I have a like explanation that I can point and cite and do all of this stuff with, but I absolutely have a theory. To me, it feels like this rally is absolutely hated. Corporate earnings are strong, but we've got geopolitical conflict, we've got inflation worries, we've got oil ticking up, which adds to the inflation worries. There's a lot that people are worried about. And even with AI, which is buoying the market, there's an entire contingent of people that are like, they took our jobs, that the AI is literally going to take everyone's job. And even that has a little bit of worry about it. So I just don't think that the rally is very well liked. I think there were a lot of people not really looking to push to new all-time highs. And when we got it, the participation just kind of said, you know what? I'm going to be cautious and wait. And I don't even really think that's a bad idea. I'm not going to tell someone to not be cautious, but that's my theory. It's a hated rally, and we're at all-time highs, and we've got conflict around the globe. People don't feel great about holding positions. How does that track for you, Liberatus?
I would also add that the quality of news we've been getting lately has been very, very hard to rely upon, especially when it comes out of the Strait of Hormuz. You're getting one narrative, you're getting another narrative, you're getting opinions from countries that are not even involved.
Yep.
You're just getting a lot of information and misinformation. And I think in the face of all this uncertainty, you're just seeing a real lack of participation.
And here, there's Bigabees. Bigabees going to take a nap. Thanks, team. Thank you, Bigabees, because you've been trading great. You've been offering great insight, and I've been trying to repeat it to our group here. So you rest up. Jay here saying markets go up on low volume and sell off on big volume, at least in the indexes.
Yeah, it's not so much the same when it comes to these smaller names. You need volume in these smaller names.
Yeah.
But yeah, we just get these melt ups in the larger in the index, funds. And then when everybody's like, "Oh crap, let's take all these gains," it's a very, very quick exit. They take the elevator down and pretty much a rope up.
By the way, SPY above VWAP trading up. That's fun. That is fun. All right, 13 minutes left here. Tesla with a nice reversal. I actually took my eye off that. Shame on me.
Yeah, it looks like Ionic is weakening and could continue to weaken. Don't like the way the 5-minute chart looks. It looks like if we can't get back above, I would say, what is this, 54.5, we're probably going to head lower.
All of the quantum looks like it's taking a little bit of a dip here today. IONQ mentioned. Google is mentioned in here. I'm doing GOOG because I normally do. Hedgehog, I know you said GOOGL. Google, nice rip here. 7-point move off the lows from today. 13 is being very gentle with his news opinion. 13 he's a gentle guy. He doesn't like to, he doesn't like to ruffle.
Peaceful is what I prefer to go with.
Peaceful. I like that. I like that. Okay, that was Google. Marshmallow Ma. That reminds me of Marshmallow Man from Ghostbusters, the Stay Puffed Marshmallow Man. Let me tell you something real quick.
What did you do, Ray?
I tried to think of the most harmless thing imaginable. Let me tell you this. If I had a Proton pack and I blew up the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, I'd be in big trouble. I'd be at diabetes risk because I absolutely love marshmallow. And if that was all over the place, I'd be grabbing up handfuls of that. Now, all jokes aside, regarding your awesome name here, you had mentioned URG, which is Your Energy. This is down 1.5%. I'll be honest, I don't track this one. I don't know much about this. Let me see if I can familiarize myself with it real quick. 13, I don't know if this is one that you look at. Uranium mining. So this is probably in the uranium thing. This is a field in Wyoming.
They own a facility in South Central Wyoming, Lost Creek.
They were recently raising money. Wainwright's got a $2.30 target. I
would need to spend some time on this.
Me too. Earnings were a miss. Yeah.
Well, to look and see what all the projects they have and the progress on them. Looks like they have filed. I don't know if they've executed this filing to raise cash, but they had filings earlier this year, last month, to raise. I see one here for 300 million, another for 50. Looks like they're still not profitable yet, but they do have some revenue.
Not terribly cheap either.
No.
The chart here, as far as the chart goes, I really think 2 is going to be a key level here. 2,205 needs to get above that to go for some of those highs.
Yeah, it looks like they've got a little bit of a cash runway for the next several quarters, but yeah, I'm sorry I don't know enough about this one to really have a good opinion on it. But I would kind of maybe put it in the basket with all the other nuclear names, because it seems like the demand for nuclear fuel, if that's what this is involved with, it looks like it is still very high. I think there's some companies that have already, sold all of their production for the next year or so. So I would think that this could be good in the future, but I just don't know enough about it to tell you when it's going to start having those big moves.
There you go.
But it looks like Lion did the work. He's saying that URG is good and it will double soon.
Wendy's, this is above 8. This was on the back of the news yesterday about Nelson Peltz's Trian Fund trying to increase the stake or take over Wendy's. Take private. This is actually a little bit higher here today. SPY continuing to try and grind higher. S&P futures at the VWAP right now. So I would want to see this move above that VWAP, perhaps hold above that for some more upside.
Retro for JBS, it looks like they just had earnings yesterday, and it's mixed earnings, and they're getting pulled down as a result of it. Give me a second here. I'm going to look into this a little bit more. Protein food company, and he's looking for a base on this one. Well, I would be inclined to say we're not too far away, but let me just give me a second here.
Lion says he needs Nelson Peltz to take him as a partner. Lion, if that happens, you better call me. Otherwise, I'm going to come find you. We'll both be partners there.
I think when it comes to JBS, I'd be looking at 1350. But what I'd want to see, and I think this would be more preferable to me, I would want to see this month close above the 20-month SMA. There have been multiple instances on this chart, this monthly chart, where the price has dipped beneath the 20-month and then ended up going back up and closing higher. So there is some prints underneath this, but every time that we have, it just the price came back up. If we don't get that with this month's candle, I'd be concerned about this going lower. That's would be my expectations for JBS. We need to close this month's candle back above the 20-month, or I think we're going to see some lower prints in the future.
Okay. Okie dokie. I'm still seeing NVIDIA calls come across the unusual option scanner. Actually, seeing some puts too, but NVIDIA trading right back up, 226 that high. SPY is unchanged, went from red to green briefly. Who's having fun with this market? Brian, how you doing over there? How you doing, Brian? Worried about you.
This market is fun. It's fantastic, even. Oh,
look, here's the thing. I take all of the macro stuff out, 13. When the market moves down and then bounces almost all of the time, it makes it fun. There's trades to be had there.
We got a new nickname for you here. I think it's like an autocorrect, but I like it. Tom saying Iron and 13. You guys really put in the work. Much appreciated. Thank you, Tom. We appreciate you being here. But your new nickname, Ryan, is now Iron.
Okay, I wear like iron, so that works out. That I'll take that. It could be a lot worse. I'll tell you.
Iron Ryan.
Iron Mike worked pretty good for Mike Tyson. I'm not going to turn my
nose up. He was hitting people in the face because they didn't have a plan.
Yeah, I'm not doing that. That's true. Tom, I'm just glad you find benefit from this. You know, this is kind of, I can't speak for 13, but for me, stuff like this is a passion project. Being able to work on this platform that I'm sharing with you here, and then also bring the platform and its capabilities to a community here where we're really trying to encourage help and idea generation and all of that. I mean, I'm passionate about this. So I'm glad that you see it on your end.
There was a comment here. DCL was asking if we had talked about ASTS yet. They report tonight. ASTS. I thought they reported already.
I was going to say, I could have sworn they, unless I'm mixing that up, I could have sworn they reported already. Yeah. SPY continuing to move to highs. That red green move is continuing here.
They did report already. They reported on Monday.
Yeah.
It was a miss. They guided, I guess the mid-range of their guide was below the estimates. Yeah, I remember talking about this one when they reported. This is, this one's got to show that contract money on their earnings reports. I mean, they talk a lot about how they have contracts. I know that there's a lot of people that like this one because they've got these frequency, deals, but we got to see this revenue start showing up from these contracts, and they really missed expectations on this last earnings report. So, I think that's the big problem with this is that they need to have that contract money start showing up, and it's not. Now, if this continues to come back in, I could see support at 60, but I don't think that that's necessarily where the selling could stop. It may even go down into the 50s, but it's struggling getting back over 80. That's pretty apparent to me.
And then Market Sniper, take care of yourself. FCHL in 209, out 225. At least you made something off that. Congrats. We'll see you tomorrow. Good stuff. I'll give you a register ring for that. Cynthia, we think you're awesome. Thanks for showing up here. Be sure to stick around for story trading. Those guys are hotter than the surface of the sun right now.
Thanks, Cynthia. Thanks, Retro.
And then, yeah, and I'll tell you what, some of these days have just not been all that fun. Today was great. Today was super fun. Lion says I may start trading MU every day. Oh, that's good times.
This was just a fun day in general.
Yeah, it was.
Very fun hump day.
Knock on wood, because that's not always the case. 3 minutes till story trading.
I'm just waiting for my next 25 cents in Aurora Innovation.
Almost at 8.
Almost at 8. Take care, Fake Beat. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for joining us.
Jay Bryce saying
I want to take some time. I want to take some time to thank everybody here for joining us, not just the people that are saying goodbye, but thank you all for joining us here today.
Absolutely. Interesting.
Velo highs.
What's that?
Velo highs. That's all.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, I think we just. I was just looking at how we hit 2055. Do your thing, Bello. Really quick with Mobileye. I'm looking at a monthly chart. I have a couple of trend lines drawn here. One interesting trend line was drawn from the September 2024.
Which sticker, sorry?
This is Mobileye.
Mobileye, MBLY, got it.
And I have this real interesting one, this trend line here that starts at the September 2024 low, goes through the April 2025 low. And if you extend it out, it lines up very well with the 20-month SMA. I think that's where the price is headed. I think the Mobileye price goes to 20. The 20-month SMA, not $20, the 20-month SMA. Can't say for sure what's going to happen there, if we're going to get a rejected or a break through that. But to me, that's where this price looks like it's going. You might run into some resistance around 12 first, but I think the 20-month SMA is where the Mobileye price is headed.
Wiz says year 6 for trading with Benzinga every morning, and we've got so many more to go. Wiz, that's so awesome. We got this Cubs Braves game though more immediately than the other years here. We'll see how that goes. Glad you guys are all here. 13, we are out of time. It is time for story trading. They're ready to absolutely crush it. Do you have any closing words for the group?
Not really. Let me just get off here so story trading can fire it up. Stick around and enjoy story trading, folks. I'll be back here tomorrow. Great day today. And I will see you in the AM. Enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye.
All right, 13, really good stuff here today. Take care as always. And 13's departure leaves room for Ben and Rhett and the story trading group. Let's bring them on. There's Ben. There's Rhett. Ben, I love the sweater, dude.
Wednesdays, every Wednesday I gotta put it on.
I am here for it. I love it. Look, you guys are hotter than the surface of the sun right now. That's per our chat, who really appreciates what you're doing. What do you got lined up for us today?
Yeah, well, it looked like today was going to be one of my best days, and then it just turned around on me. That ever happened to you, from like pre-market to like open? But
Yep. That's why you see me knocking on wood. That's why you see me believing in all this superstitious stuff. I've seen it a few times, Ben.
Yeah. So we're killing it on Velo, so that's working. Sats is working. I'll pull back appreciably. DGXX giving me some problems because I got a huge position. So this is actually hurting because I got a lot of leverage. So this move from 880 to 820 is like a big hit to my account. Yeah.
Let me ask you real quick. DGXX, I was basically just scalping that the other day. I didn't buy and hold it. What's the thesis here? Can you give me a boilerplate thesis on this?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I've been actually swinging this. I've made a ton of money on it since last week. So actually give you the thesis. We'll have to start by going to Benzinga over here. Let me pull up the news feed. I'll pull this up for you. So this is how it started. It started on May 5th, this press release. DGXX signs a up to 1 billion, up to 2.5 billion data center deal with Cerebras. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so that should already
IPOs tomorrow.
which IPOs tomorrow. Okay, so I've had a ton of success in the past playing IPO sympathy plays or IPO proxy plays, let's call them, and they always work for me, like always, like clockwork. There was the two big ones I remember was 3Com spinning off Palm Pilot, and then Yahoo and the Alibaba IPO date that was announced. So another one I'm playing is Sats with the SpaceX IPO.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You can see that breaking out now. So Cerebras, I was already in it, last week because of that big deal I just showed you from the news release on Benzinga. But then on Sunday night, you see this gap here Monday morning. On Sunday night, there was a lot of news about the pricing of Cerebras, how it was like being up to like $50 to $60, and it's like 50 times oversubscribed, like crazy stuff. But retail can't get into Cerebras. So what are they going to do? They're going to get into the companies that have deals with Cerebras. So it's DGXX, Wi-Fi, and Vicker also. And all of these exploded Monday morning, these big gap ups, and they've held their gaps because that's how retail's playing it. They're like, I can't get into Cerebras. I want to be the next best thing. So I actually, and my experience has shown in these kind of proxy IPO plays, the peak of the price is usually the night before or the morning of. So I think we still have more room to go. You see here, we're pumping from 770 to 825. So it might even be up until the minute before Cerebras opens tomorrow. This still might be pumping because people are using this as a proxy to get some sort of.
That is.
What's that?
Sorry.
Ryan?
Yeah, no, I was going to say that is awesome. I didn't even think about that myself.
Okay.
That's a great. Sorry, I was trying to get in there, but I ended up cutting you off. I apologize.
That's okay. Yeah. So it's basically like a proxy to DGXX. I mean the Cerebras exposure. But what you're going to see is the minute Cerebras opens, all of these stocks are going to dive. They'll all be down like 5% at least within like a few minutes because people are actually rotating out. They're going to be selling DGXX, selling Wi-Fi, selling Vicker so they can buy Cerebras. That's the play.
Okay, that's awesome. Look, I've never done that, Ben. I might follow you on that on some of these in the future. That's really good stuff. Thanks for breaking that down for us, Rhett. It's always good to see you, my man. You guys take it away. Have a great one.
You as well, Ryan. Appreciate it.
Wow, look at bot halted up. Oh, I'm glad I kept at least half of it. CMPS killing it. That's the Godfather pick from this morning in our Discord. But things are starting to pick up. But man, I am taking overall. I'm taking a beating. I have a lot of wins, right? But taking a beating, especially on EOSE, which is sad because I called the $10 target last week, and we got that $10 target in pre-market. I made a ton of money on Monday, and then I just did not hold for the entire gap fill because there was earnings. I didn't want to hold through earnings risk. Hits a $10 target in pre-market, and then it blows past it to 1190. What do? I buy the dip at 1080, and I'm just getting smoked because I bought it in size. So that's hurting me today. DGXX pullback so far hurting me today, but we're killing it on Velo. In fact, hold on. I have more shares to sell here. But I have a $21 target on Velo, which we put out on the morning note. In fact, you could see it here. I said a possible stretch target of 24. So Velo 18 to 21 target possible today. Outside chance of 24, 27% short float on a huge revenue beat. And also the company guiding for EBITDA profitability in the second half of the year. So Velo has been really working out today. And yeah, man, I don't know if am I gonna take a loss on EOSC at some point. That's kind of sad that I hit my target and I misplayed it. So yeah, in short, that's what we're focused on here. It's Velo, it's Sats on the FCC approval of the SpaceX deal. I'm looking for 140 on this soon. Honestly, I still wouldn't be surprised if it happens today, Brett. We did see 140 in pre-market on here.
Yep.
So I've been adding to that position today. So Velo and Sats looking good. I am short IWM as a hedge after that very, very hot PPI. Maybe we tested 20 DMA like we did yesterday, but I have so many longs I have to be in that hedge. And yeah, it's just USC is cramping my style here. Unfortunately, I misplayed that. And but if DGXX goes back up and does a red to green like it did yesterday, hopefully it'll make up for my loss on EOSC and then some. That's the hope. as we see a bounce back in the bot ETF. Is anyone else from Story Trading joining us today?
I think it's just us. Let me see.
So it's a very interesting day because I got nice big profits on Velo, but I'm down because I got big unrealized losses in DGXX and EOSC right now. Basically, that's my story between these three stocks. Also making good profit on Wi-Fi. I sold a little bit here on the pop, and a bot was hurting me, so I had to take half of it off.
Wow, Velo's really pushing for that 21 plus target. What do you see after that?
24.
24.
Yeah. Maybe a monthly chart makes that clear, or was it the weekly I was looking at?
I think it was the weekly chart,
Yeah,
right?
weekly 2384. I mean, it's hard to see. I actually, these Webull charts work a little bit better on my phone. I can zoom out easier and bigger. Yeah, here it is. Okay, here it is. So 21, then 2384 possible. 21 to 2384. Yeah, I don't know. I may just have to play Velo a little bit harder as my play on the day, and to make up some of these other things that are not really working. Bot reopened, by the way. Bot is a new closed-end fund, robotics. I think it's humanoid robotics, or maybe it's just robotics. I'm not sure. They just IPO'd the other day. We played it really well on IPO day, even though you have all these red candles. But man, I don't know. I guess we just played it well because this is not a good. That's not here. 30-minute chart's better. I'll show you. Yeah. So this thing just like rocketed, and we were in it on the first day, like 25 to 40. Pull back here. I got back in last night, taking it on the chin, because our friend Serenity, who moves the market, he got to acknowledge that he is now posting about robotics companies and research is done, and he posted a whole bunch of tickers, and he did post bot, but even before I saw that, I'm like, that's it, I'm buying bot because bot's diversified. So even if he doesn't pick bot per se, it'll lift all, rising tide in the robotics. Humanoid robotics will lift bot anyway, even if it's not a particular target of him or anyone else. So that's why I felt comfortable getting back into bot yesterday. But I got shaken out here a little bit. Let me see what price I sold half of them when this thing was diving. I was getting nervous.
There's a bunch of comments today.
22 times. I could buy back. Same price that I sold it at. I don't know. This thing moves like crazy. So in any case, yeah, little bit of a disappointing day so far because I was calculating how much money I was going to make today. Last night, like every single stock, half of my portfolio was up 7% last night in after hours, right?
Jeez.
DGXX was up 7%, Wi-Fi was up 7%, Sats was up 7%, and I was like half my portfolio. I'm like, I'm gonna kill it today, and then DGXX completely turned around, and then I misplayed the EOSE, and also bot was up 7%, and then like bot turned around, so I was counting my money prematurely last night.
We have a bunch of questions here, Ben. The first one I'm seeing, let me go back here.
I got a 29 plus target on Wi-Fi, by the way. Wi-Fi, same thesis as DGXX, except it's acting better today.
So it says, Ben Rat, have you heard about this theme yet in your travels? The Simis that has exposure to autos have been infrastructure to transfer from that tech to robotics. Names like AMBA, MBLY, BB, SYNA, and TXN.
Yeah, I'm familiar with. I think it's called Ambalu, and Mobileye, but it's not an area. What were the tickers again? That sounds familiar. I know Mobileye, but
yeah, we traded a few of these. AMBA, no, MBLY.
Ambarella is Ambarella. Yeah. I never researched Ambarella too much, but Mobileye we played pretty extensively after it IPO'd, but not recently. I don't really have any thoughts on it. It was there was someone in our community, I forgot his name. It was Chris Tuttle from Tuttle Capital. Yeah, he was all into Mobileye when it IPO'd, and we played that well proximal to the IPO, but I haven't really haven't really been into it since then. So sorry, don't really have any comments on that.
And then there's a few other ones here. Let me go out here. UNH.
Yeah, I haven't
What do you
traded
think?
UNH
I
at
see
all.
420 in the near term future.
I mean, I'll tell you my technical thoughts, but I don't like giving my technical thoughts without doing the fundamental homework. But wow, this thing really broke out above 375. What do you look at that? Maybe look at that, it's W bottom on the weekly chart. Maybe a little rotation. We saw signs of rotation happening yesterday, maybe out of some semis and into some undervalued, boring companies. So we saw that a little bit yesterday. I would say the next target here is about 417, 420. About 420. It looks like it's going to. The 200 DMA is up there at 440, but that might come down over the next few days and meet the stock at like 420. So that would roughly be my target on this, but I don't really trade UNH, but those are my thoughts.
Thanks here. When was this posted? Oh, never mind.
Yeah, Watt has been lousy, and I've been holding it, and it hasn't worked, Jay. And I will hold it into earnings, but I'm going to reduce my size. I don't like holding more than 5% position into earnings. I had big size because I was expecting an earnings anticipation run off the 20 DMA. I'm actually very surprised this failed. These 4 candles, right? This one would have been acceptable on May 7th. All right, you overshoot a little bit, but then, Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, I would have expected it to hold to 20 and bounce in anticipation of the report, and it didn't work. And I'm going to hold about 5% into the earnings report, so I'll have to take a loss on. I think I did a 10% position, so I'll have to take a loss on about half of the shares. And yes, I will talk about Bull. Just 1 second. So Bull, I've been accumulating a position in Bull. I could go on about this. I could really talk about Bull here. Bull also, I would have liked to see the 20 DMA hold. I think Bitcoin's been weak here. It got rejected at that 200 DMA. That's part of the weakness here. But I am not playing this as it's not a technical play or Bitcoin play for me. And yeah, I don't love this chart. I loved it a couple days ago when it was holding the 20. Well, yes, I don't like it when it's not holding the 20, technically speaking. But I'm making a fundamental bet here and a catalyst bet on Bull. And I'm accumulating some call options, some June call options. They report earnings later this month, and then you have the pattern day trader rule is going to be lifted in I think the first week of June. And I don't know if I have time to go through that. I went through the whole thing on Wolf Financial Spaces X Spaces on Monday night. Let me give the brief version. The brief version is I think there were positive signs on the Hood conference call. All right, so Hood missed, and the stock got killed. And then you had relative strength in Bull. Bull didn't get killed, which was unusual. Bull usually, to some extent, follows Hood, and Bull held up. And one of the reasons I think Bull held up is because the biggest reason for the Hood miss was crypto volume was down, and crypto volume stayed down in the first month of the second quarter in April, right? Whereas they gave kind of guidance. They said the first month of the second quarter, we're seeing a huge rebound in stock and options to almost record levels, but crypto is staying really depressed, right? So that's why Robinhood is staying depressed, because they derive a lot of their revenue from crypto trading. Bull, however, does not. Okay, Bull crypto trading is a small fraction of their revenue. So the fact that's why you saw the relative strength here in Bull versus Hood, and it's also the reason I'm optimistic about the earnings call, is because we know from the Robinhood conference call that they're seeing a rebound, which is obvious looking at the market in April and into May here. So I expect them to have they're not going to miss. Hopefully, they're not going to miss like Robinhood did, and they'll have good guidance because they're not impacted by crypto. So that's one reason why I'm making a bet on Bull. And the other reason I'm making a bet on Bull is because the pattern day trader rule falls off first week of June, which is going to explode volumes for the whole industry. But do I really want to? I want to look at my stocks. Okay, well, look, let me try, because we have a little bit of time. So I was really bullish. I failed on Robinhood. I was making a bet on Robinhood into the earnings because I thought they were going to give extraordinary guidance based on the pattern day trader rule coming off. but they didn't. And IBKR reported like a week before them, and the first analyst question was about the pattern day trader rule change. How's this going to impact your company? And the CEO of IBKR was very like, he gave a non-answer. And the analyst was like, so you're saying it's going to help you, right? Like, because the analyst was shocked. Is like, he thought that was the first question. And the CEO, oh, yeah, I guess it can help with, there'll be increased volumes. Like, that was the extent of it. Then it goes Robinhood. Guess what the first analyst question was again? Same thing, pattern day trader rule. And what did Vlad say, CEO of Robinhood? He said something like, yeah, it'll help to the extent that we'll have less turnover. I'm like, wait a second, what is he talking about? And then he goes on to explain himself. We'll have less people switching platforms and switching brokers, because when you get hit, when you're flagged with like 3 day trades and whatever, 5 days, then those rules don't follow you from broker to broker. So then people will move to a different brokerage account. So with the change of this rule, then we won't have as much churn. That was his answer to that, right? First analyst. These guys are clueless, man. You know who's not clueless? Webull. They put a video out. First of all, they put a press release out the day after they made that rule change that's going to take effect in the first week of June, saying, hey, we're excited for this. We're ready. We're going to support you, getting rid of this limit. I think it'd be 2,000 or 3,000 instead of 25,000. And then they put a video out like a week later, which explained something that, Rhett, something that I had explained maybe even the night before or the day before in Discord, right? I went out and put a thesis here that I think this pattern day trader rule change is really going to explode volumes to an extent that a lot of people don't understand yet. And this is my reasoning behind it. ASPI is up 5%, by the way. Hold on, let me just take a break and look at this ASPI. We'll get back to that. Strong daily candle. Something's going on here. Joby Ripper, someone says. So what's going on? Is IWM ripping? Some things are ripping. All right, anyway. Let me put my chart on Velo while I talk instead of Webull. All right, so I can see what's going on. So, okay, so this is what I explained in the Discord that night. I'm like, people are really underestimating the explosion in volume that's going to come from this, because it's not just a matter of like some poor people who don't have 25 grand, right? And also, I've seen some negative commentary that, in terms of why aren't Robinhood and IBKR excited? Because they're like, oh, these poor people who have 3 or 4 grand, they're just gonna go to zero, right? Because they're gonna actively trade. They don't know what they're doing to go to zero. So it's not really gonna help us in the long term. Okay. What people are missing are people who have a lot of money, like me. I manage multiple millions of dollars across many, many different accounts. Okay. You know how much of a need I have for accounts under 25K? I don't have all my money in one place, and I have different business entities. I have children, I have a spouse, I have all kinds of reasons why I may want an account under 25K. And then here's another reason that I was specifically talking about. And then like the next morning on video, Webull addressed it. Said, if there were accounts under 25K, I could dedicate different accounts to different strategies, right? To fine tune things. Like maybe I'll do 0 DTEs for a while and day trade those and see if I can fine tune my skills on that. Maybe a different account, I'll try some different strategy. Oh, and by the way, with AI coming online and with what I expect to be a lot more automated bot trading tools coming to all these brokers probably sooner rather than later on top of AI, then I can make all kinds of different strategies, trading strategies, and have them automated. I can have like 10 different accounts under 25K and test them out and A/B test and do like, crazy amount of trading to figure out what works for me. And so I think the whole industry is completely missing the opportunity here and the explosion of volume that's going to come. The CEO of IBKR, he didn't touch on it at all. Vlad, he seemed clueless. All right, who didn't? Webull. They put a video out like the next day explaining exactly what I said, that these under 25K accounts will allow you to try different strategies and test them out, X, Y, and Z. They're really on the cutting edge. They understand active traders. That's the point. Webull understands the active trader. Robinhood does not. I don't even know who uses Robinhood. Like it's not for active traders, and the management there doesn't even understand the active trader mindset, and they don't even understand that there's a massive, massive TAM to be unlocked among people who have millions of dollars. They're gonna be using these accounts in a big way under 25K. So someone asked me, "What's my thesis on Bull? Can you go over Bull?" So what I think is that They're not going to miss earnings like Hood did, and they're going to provide positive guidance because Q2 is already going well. And on the conference call, they're going to give very bullish commentary on what I just talked about, the PTP pattern day trader rule coming off in June. And they may talk about some of the things I just talked about, that they're going to provide tools for people and make it easy for people to employ different strategies, because they tease that on the video itself. All right, so there you go. Those are my thoughts on bull. Hope that answered your question. No, I don't like Futo more. I don't even know what Futo is. I like bull because one of my alpha trade. Wow. One of the best pieces of advice I can give when you trade or invest in the market is to buy what you know, right? And this is bull. You're looking at the Webull platform right now. I've tried all different platforms. When I used to do this show, I've been doing this show for a long time, every single morning, a live stream. And I used to do it on TD Ameritrade app, and then they were bought by Schwab and they nuked their app, and their new app from Schwab sucked. So I like researched every app in the world that was out there, and bull blew away everyone else by far. I love their product. I believe active traders love their product. And that's the reason I prefer bull over something like Futo, which I don't even know what it is. Okay. And by the way, so I'm not making my decisions based only on profitability or if they're more profitable. I'm looking at the future, right? I'm looking at bull taking market share from Robinhood. I'm looking at bull exploding because of this pattern day trader rule. And we're looking at sats exploding, and we've been accumulating calls yesterday and today, so that's fun.
I see people talking. There's a few asking about the China trade. I mean, the clear easy one was going to be Tesla. I mean, we already saw that it's starting to explode.
Yeah, I haven't been on top of that. I've been distracted with or focused, I should say, on these trade ideas I've been talking about. But yeah, wow, look at that. China trade, Elon Musk over in China, a lot of other CEOs in China, maybe QQQ, who knows? But it's not something that I've been focused on. Just focus on what we know here. Look at Velo heading 21. Our 21 target hit, right? $21.
Sadly, I did not stick around for that, but I
we gave it
crushed it
to
this
you
morning on this name.
at 5:30 in the morning. We made Velo a top 5 pick, gave you a $21 target. I only have a 3.5% allocation left, and I gave a 24 stretch target. Should I hang around for that? Should I exit all my shares here, Rhett? The short position is really high in this. So 2075. All right, I'll sell a little more here. But I'm going to keep some shares in case it blows through 21 at that 24 stretch target. So
I'm liking DGXX here. It's finally starting to get legs breaking over on the 5-minute on these moving averages.
I didn't want to say it, but yeah, the Sats is looking good too. DGXX, I have so much exposure, man. So much. It's like ridiculous. You know what? I should probably sell. I think I should scalp some of these common shares I bought at 8 because I bought a lot. Let me see. Yeah, I bought 14,000 shares at 8. So I'm like definitely overweight. So let me sell some of these, even though I think it's going much higher still today. All right, but just for risk management reasons. All right, taking a scalp win on that. But there was also the 9 calls that I bought on the dip this morning. 50-cent average.
45, I thought we bought on the dip. That's what
that was my average down price. So that was my second tranche. So my average is 56 cents. They're 55 by 65 now. So I'm like up by 4 cents a contract. I don't think I'm ready to sell that one yet.
I'm gonna let them ride.
Velo, let's see if we get 24. Let's see. Sats. I was thinking 140 today, by the way. I think what did I put in the morning note for Sats? Let me see.
I think it was the all-time highs, 137 plus.
This stock is right in there. Our swing target was in the morning. One could start taking price there, but the peak. I wasn't very, very specific with what the target was for today. But the Discord knows I'm looking for 140 in the morning on a morning show. I'm looking for 140 today, maybe. So we're buying call options on that dip. Let's see if that works out. So Bot's coming back. Any other comments? There's a lot of comments, right? You want to read some of them to me?
Yeah, Ben, do anyone of you have experience with Medved Trader or News Quote?
I don't know what that is.
No, I have no idea what that is.
I don't know what you mean by Medved Trader, so no. News code aggregate, and you can trade within that app. Nope, no experience with it. Don't know what you're talking about, so that means I have no experience with it.
Oh yeah, and then J Rice talking about robot plays ripping.
Robot plays are ripping, so maybe bot will go. Maybe bot will go. I got back in. I did sell half because I was like panicking. I wanted to preserve my capital, but I was able to buy it back at the same price I sold it.
The top
no, no. Hold on a second. I didn't buy it. I only bought a portion of it back. It's actually sold. Robot plays are ripping, really? Which robot plays? What are the top robot? I don't even know what the top robot plays are, to be honest.
AMBA.
Oh, Ambro. Oh, that's I don't know. I have to make a robot list.
AMBA.
I have a robot list, but it's not good. I got to update it. I made it a long time ago. So robotics. I have Tesla. I have Oust. Oh my God, look at this. Oust 20. I have Richard Robotics up 15%. Oh, so you're right. Oh, ARBE Robotics. Holy shit, you're right. All right. You know what?
MBLY, Mobilize flying, but I mean, I'm not going to chase it up here. And then Velo is flying past 21, so I guess 24 swing target could be in play.
24 swing target. I just bought back to a full position of bot because I just verified what you guys said here about the robot companies flying. So back to a full position and bot. Velo 24 target. Sadly, I only have 1,000 shares left and no options. But Velo has been a nice winner today.
Yeah, it's one I should have let run. Oh my gosh.
Over 10,000 in profits on Velo today. What's that?
I'm just looking at the contracts that I had sold, what they're at now.
Oh, I know. Don't look.
Big regret.
Yeah, I know. I just scalped them for like, I think like $1.10 to $1.50.
Base name's starting to catch a bid here.
How much are they now?
Rocket Lab curling back up.
Oh, look at these. They're almost $4 now. I saw. I scalped them for like 50 cents, and they like tripled the Velo call options. Do you exit full? Yeah, I will exit full position Velo today. This is not an investment for me. This is a trade based on the proximal catalyst. 2165 next level. I don't know. Now that I'm seeing this, I might increase my size on Velo. Now that I saw it break 21, and I'm seeing 2165 as the next resistance. Would it be crazy to increase my common shares here?
Let's see if this is moving it. Forward up almost 8% today.
So interesting. The robot sector is up, huh? So maybe that bot will explode later today. But I'm going to put that at the top now.
Here we go. Let's see what Sats maybe break out that new high, 136.
Yeah, I agree with Joe. I use Benzinga Pro newsfeed. I depend on it. Yeah. By the way, this morning note that we write every single morning over here, this section right here, proximal catalysts, not this but this section where I talk about individual stocks. Okay, a lot of this comes from Benzinga Pro. I would say 80% of it comes from Benzinga Pro. So yeah, and in fact, we got to talk about seeing. I know we mentioned this. We got to talk to the Benzinga folks. I'd love to see if we can provide this morning note to Benzinga subscribers.
Yeah, they ghosted me.
Oh, they ghosted you.
Yeah,
that'll be fun. That'll be fun. Give Benzinga folks some alpha. But in any case, yeah, I depend on that Benzinga Pro feed. It's great.
Yeah, Tesla could be included in that robot list.
What's that? Tesla? And Tesla is the premier robot company. Look at Sats going for a 140 target, baby.
I'm looking at it. My call is exploding again.
Holy, how are our calls doing? Let's see. Oh, nice. Nice. My calls are up.
I'm up nicely.
I have a 775 average. They're now 11 by 1250. and I have a good amount of them too. I
Is
got a good amount of them.
DGXX going again? DGXX. Those calls are
Man,
moving
my
up.
count count is still red today though, and oh shit, and I got the IWM puts. Oh shit, I didn't realize I had this many IWM puts. Dude, I got size. I didn't even look at this. I got size in IWM puts. Holy crap. I didn't even
I made my
realize.
money and I got out. I did not hold those. I told you it's gonna head back
Oh,
over
I
to
totally forgot.
281.
I didn't even look at it. Green to
Those
red and
teams are ripping.
DGXX. But holy crap, I bought them and I forgot about them, and I have like decent size. Dude, what the hell was I thinking? Oh man, I'm selling half of them. Stupid. I hate doing IWM puts so hard for me. All right, DGXX red to green. Let's check on those options we bought on the dip. Those $9 ones.
Yeah, Sats is moving nicely again for me.
All right, we're looking for 140. New all-time high very soon on Sats. Velo looking good. Sats, yes, that's happening. 140 is coming, guys. Should I do these DGXX calls? Should I sell some of them? Yeah. You know what? I'm gonna sell a few common shares because I bought a lot on the dip at $8. So let me just take that scalp win here from 8 to 840. Haven't sold the calls yet. Man, I gotta look at my account more closely. I had no idea how many IWM contracts I had. That's shit. Lost like over $4,000 so far in IWM puts.
Oh jeez.
Yeah, I wasn't paying attention. I was just so petrified by the hot PPI. I'm like, I gotta protect my lungs. Like, I don't care. I just gotta protect my lungs. I gotta have a lot of IWM
Yeah,
puts.
Jay
And I
Rice
just
is right with Google.
threw
Google
a bunch
freaking
of it
went
at it.
flying today. That was
Google?
someone nailed that in our community today.
Nice.
Yeah, Google up almost 3%, over 2.5.
Let's see
A
what's
lot of
going on
stuff
with
starting
Velo
to turn around.
now. Velo. Wi-Fi kind of stalling out a little bit here.
Come on, Sats, keep going there.
I think I'm gonna sell another.
If Wi-Fi is stalling, which call it's going to follow suit? DGXX.
No, not necessarily. They haven't been following each other. Like day one, Wi-Fi was much better than DGXX. Day two, DGXX was much better than Wi-Fi. So not necessarily will they follow each other. I think generally speaking, they both should have a bid into, late afternoon into after hours. But they have not really been following each other though.
Sorry, guys, someone's cutting the grass. Wow, look at that. Tesla 450 almost hit. Unbelievable. UNH pull there a little from 404.
Sats is the winner of the day here for us. Sats and Velo. We
Oh,
called
yeah.
that very early too. We were looking at that relative strength in these two.
Sats was a carryover from yesterday as well, though.
I know.
We saw that news. We hopped on it. We picked up those June calls, and then
On
this
live
morning
stream we did that. Yeah.
Yeah, then I picked up more calls this morning.
I mean, these calls we've been accumulating for a while. We just added more to them.
Yeah, I'm gonna hold these. I'm just gonna trim this week's that I had picked up this morning.
Look at that. This thing's gonna blow past 137.44 today, in my opinion. Today.
Don't see this a lot. Shop near 52-week low. NVIDIA all-time highs. Yeah, I know.
And I took a loss on Axon, by the way. Yeah, this people just don't want, if it's not AI or space related or whatever, if it's not a hot sector, they just don't want it, regardless of anything else.
Here we go with Sats pushing here, trying.
Yeah. Man,
Big time resistance. Yeah, for.
I feel like I don't have enough. Wait, how did?
Yeah, if Tesla can get over that 450 though, if it can break through this, guys, I'd watch it. RSI supports a move higher too, but I mean that is a strong level to break through.
I'm happy just focusing on Sats. I don't need Tesla today.
No, I'm just responding to the comments. Yeah, I'm in
No.
Sats. I'm loving this play.
Look at Sats. Here we go. All-time new high is
Yeah.
about to hit 137.44. What's the short position in this? Ooh, holy crappy. 36 million divided by 136. What is that? Like 20%, over 20% short. Actually, Laptop Travel was making that point that he was looking for a short squeeze in this name. Remember that? He was
Yeah,
like,
I
he's going to
do.
have a major short squeeze. I'm like, oh, that's great because that's one of my top picks. Let's go. Look at this. Oh, baby. It's going to make up for a lot of mistakes today. I didn't have a lot of mistakes. My big mistake was the EOSC mistake.
Here we go. Here we go.
There we go. New all-time high. We'll start getting those alerts
Let's
in a
go.
second. The Weeble alerts, 52-week high, coming any second. Man, I wish I had more calls. Wow. I'm up 16 grand on Sats today.
I just sold a few of those calls for
I'm
this
not
week.
selling them.
No, I'm leaving the Junes. I'm just getting rid of this week.
Oh, I didn't get this week's. I only bought June's.
Yeah. Oh,
There we go. Is that it?
Maybe I'll regret selling all
got it?
those.
52-week high, all-time high, 137.44 any second now. Now all the traders are going to see it. We'll go to 140 plus today. Dude, what a beautiful... I think this was the number one pick of the day in the morning note, by the way.
It was. It was. Let's see.
Here's the evidence. This came out, by the way, 5:30 in the morning. Sats, we sent this PDF to you. Sats, there it goes.
Boom, all-time high, baby.
There it is.
There it is.
I said our swing target was in the 140s to 150s. So one could start taking profits there, but the peak in the price won't be until the week of the SpaceX IPO. Money, money, money. I'm talking about the value of our morning note is money, money, money.
Oh, yeah.
Holy
beautiful. Smokes. Great day.
You know what? I'm probably still red. Can you believe it? I've lost so much money in EOSC. It's just I totally misplayed that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Well, let me see how much these calls are. 1230 by 1350. All right. I have no desire at all to sell these here. I'm gonna wait. Is that crazy?
No, I'm gonna let mine ride too. Look at this. Look at all these charts just ripping.
USC starting to rip a little bit.
In the video, all-time highs again, just flying here. Google having a day. Gonna try.
Nice.
398.37 is the high for Google. SYNA. Let's look at that. Wow, look at that move. Another crazy move. 64.
Is that a robotics company?
330 from March 30th, 2026 till now of 132. More than double
semiconductor
since
company. Yeah, it's just unbelievable what's going on. Wow, Tesla surging new highs.
So someone is asking, is DGXX exit after hours today or tomorrow?
I'm going to be out of all my call options today. I will leave some common shares for either after hours today or tomorrow morning. But I expect DGXX to sell off sharply right before or in the morning, like close proximal to Cerebrus opening. I expect a sharp drop in DGXX. Now, I think they report earnings tomorrow morning as well. So who knows if they announce a new deal, maybe that'll overcome any selling on DGXX. So anything's possible. But yeah, that's my plan. I'm going to sell all the options today, late in the day, and maybe carry over some common shares. but I would not want to be personally. I would not want to be like once they're starting to be like once it become clear that Cerberus is opening, and you're looking at the level 2, and you can see the numbers jumping around. It's about to open any second. Like I wouldn't want to be anywhere near DGXX at that point of the day, or Wi-Fi, in my opinion.
All right, the shenanigans is going again with eBay and GME.
Really?
Cohen says the fight for eBay is not over.
Well, someone say DGXS going to 10. My target for DGXX was, my initial target zone is 8 to 11. So I got to 950. And then I gave it a stretch target of 14. So we'll see. Fake Beat says it's going to 10. It very well may. And we very well may have news tomorrow morning that can help it get there. Maybe more news with Cerberus tomorrow morning.
This is very interesting.
What's that?
I just saw this come out. Someone just posted at Colex. Someone just added over $4 million worth of puts for expiring tomorrow.
For what?
The Qs.
Oh, okay.
Normally, when you see this kind of activity, something's always followed suit.
Maybe
I just deleted it. Let me go look at that.
I don't know. Yeah, that's exactly what I just said, Joe. Right? That's exactly why the IPOs come. So money has to come out of the existing stocks to go into the IPO stocks. That's why I don't want to overstay my welcome tomorrow in DGXX and Wi-Fi.
Wow, Ford is continuing to explode there.
I'm wondering if I should take a little extra risk on Watt. It didn't 3-4 days in a row. We didn't get the earnings anticipation run, but maybe we get it from now into 4 p.m.
No, I'm just gonna leave what I got.
Wi-Fi perking back up again a little bit. So is the robotics sector exploding because of Serenity's post last night?
Possibility.
Or was there other news? It's probably him. Dude, I'm telling you, it was probably that post, which is a little surprising that this robot strategy close-end fund is actually down 16%.
Yeah, I mean, J Rice, you could be right. I haven't looked at that yet. Maybe that guy's playing the Thursday 2026. Almost every Thursday in 2026 has been down. It's interesting. I'll have to go back.
Yeah. By the way, I loaded back up Wi-Fi. I'd sold half when I saw this little move down here. Back in full size on Wi-Fi. My target's 29 plus for today.
The only thing, J Rice, that would scare me is with
Dude, look at Velo. Look at Velo right now. It's coiling. You see that?
Yeah, I see that. Look at this consolidation here, right over this 21. This thing could really just.
It might have pop any second. I'm buying a little more just in case we have a big candle right now.
But yeah, the only
look at
thing
that. Look at that. What's that? Sorry, go.
No, it's all good. I was talking to Jay Rice about that guy playing puts. The only thing that would scare me about playing puts is with Trump in China right now, them coming out saying something good and the markets rally on it. So I'm not really wanting to hold any positions overnight because that there could be some news that comes out.
Dude, Velo.
I see that. I'm debating if I should get back in here.
I got back in. I don't know. Sometimes these setups fail. I'm like, but it looks good. Higher lows, coiling, consolidation, whatever you want to call it. So 1 minute. Let's look at the 5 minute, 30 minute, 1 hour. Huge short position, guys. Huge short position in Velo. So this thing can go 2165 next resistance, and then who knows, maybe 2384. Those are the two levels I'm looking at on Velo.
Yeah, I see that. Fireworks on the weekend. Possibility. Time is it left? We have 14 minutes.
It's going to be a love fest with China. Don't worry.
Oh yeah, I know. Did you see that grand welcoming they had with the
Yeah.
them waving the American and Chinese flags?
Yeah.
Look at this. Look at DGXX trying here again.
Oh man, is Velo failing? Wow, everyone's playing China stocks and robotics. I missed those themes, but that's okay. We're focused on some other stuff that's working here.
People are asking why ASTS is up after those bad earnings. It was the it's up because of last night the same thesis and information that we've been trading for Sats. That's ASTS was also in that as well. So
They were?
yeah.
Well, what was in there for them?
The actual hold on, if you go to the actual report, hold on, by the government, where is it at?
See, I'm having a little trouble. I mean, might just be a technical balance. Let's see.
Right here.
That's very choppy. That's not clean technicals here. Well, on the weekly, it bounced off the 50-week moving average today. Yeah, I'm getting a little nervous. I'm not sure if Elo's going to blow or not.
Where is this article? All right, yeah. So it specifically states here: approved ASTS Space Mobile's competitive 248 satellite D2 system.
Oh, in the same release, it was about SpaceX and ASTS?
They describe it as
missed that.
competitive. They describe it as competitive, but I think it also is like benefit. I think it benefits them.
Okay. I don't know.
Because if you look at it and like you analyze it, like I was going back and forth with AI last night about it, and overall, it seemed pretty bullish.
I am not concerned at all about the SpaceX competition.
No, neither
And,
am I. My thing is the only thing that concerns me with ASTS is they got to start really launching satellites and getting them up in orbit. If you don't have these things up in orbit and everyone else starts getting them up in orbit, then you're going to be behind.
Oh, look at Tesla.
Sat's pulling back here.
Look at Tesla going.
Yep, I see that. 450, it broke through it, but let's see.
Oh.
It's a strong level it has to get through.
All right. Any other? Can EOC get back above 10 today? I don't know. I guess it can. Anything can happen, but
let's go DGXX. Come on, baby.
there are some valid bear points of view on the earnings report today. So from that perspective, I'm not loving it anymore after I read those opinions.
Come on,
No,
there we go.
DGXX, baby.
There we go.
All right.
Beautiful.
I'll need this to make up for EOSC. Let's see what those $9 calls are at now.
$9 are at 65. The midpoint's 70 on them.
Dude, I have so many call options right now in DGXX. That's like crazy.
Let's see what happens.
Look at Tesla.
I wish I would went like ham this when I was buying that dip.
Oh no, Velo. I think I might be all. Should I get? I think I might be all out Velo here, and just focus on DGXX the rest of the day.
Yeah,
Made
not
good
bad.
money
I
on
mean,
it.
Velo hit our target that we gave. Like that's
I
our
know
new
I hit the target.
so.
I was just seeing if it gets to a 24 stretch
No,
target.
that looks rejected, Ben. Yeah, I mean
All
it's
right,
gonna
I'm
go
out.
back to
I'm out,
2030.
Velo.
I mean,
All
2020.
right, get that out of the way. Let's focus on this DGXX pump.
ESTS still ripping there.
And
Could rip a little bit, but I think it could
Wi-Fi
pull
should
back.
follow. Wi-Fi should go up with it here, I think. DGXX, beautiful.
Yeah.
There we go. Let the FOMO and the hype begin for Cerebrus, guys.
That's what I like to see.
Wi-Fi going now too. Dude, the amount of DGXX call options I have is absurd. For me, it's 5%. I have 5% of my account in DGXX call options. I don't do that. That's it's a little bit crazy.
So Yosef's what at 100%?
Yeah, probably. It's probably at 30% at this point. And then Sam the Bull, he was at 10%. DGXX. I'm probably gonna have to sell some here. I think I'm gonna the nines. Let me see if I can take some profit on the nines. I'm gonna sell. Let me see if I can sell some at 70 cents.
Wow,
Yeah, I
got
filled some at
through at
70.
451. Now it's pulling back.
I sold some of the
So-
DGXX $9 calls here. 56-cent average, sold some at 70 cents. We picked them up at 40 cents near the bottom, though. Some of those. Sorry, what were you saying?
No, someone's saying they just put fuel cell in there.
Oh my God, do I need to repeat? I can't repeat DGXX. Oh my God. It's just a. How many times do I have to give this thesis? Oh my God, I guess I gotta write a book or a blog. Oh. It's a proxy IPO play. It's a proxy for Cerebrus. People can't get into Cerebrus, so what do? They get into the next best thing, which is DG, XX, and Wi-Fi right now, and some Vicar. That's it. That's the reason. Okay. I mean, there's much more to it with the catalyst and the fundamentals and the technicals. All right, but that's the thesis. And in these kind of plays, it runs up right until Cerebrus opens. Okay. So I'm going to sell all the call options today, though, by end of the day. And
Yeah, I'm not holding any into tomorrow.
Yeah, I'm selling
No
every
way.
single contract by end of the day today, and then holding some common shares because already by tomorrow morning, it's possible people start raising money, selling DGXX to fund Cerebrus. So
Yeah, we've been buying call options, common shares, all the above.
I don't like this EOSC. I got to start taking losses.
Thoughts on DXYZ? Someone said.
What?
Thoughts on the Destiny Tech 100?
I mean, that's just going up with Anthropic revaluation. I heard.
Yeah, pulled back.
Yeah. I mean, what am I going to do with that? Nothing. Have fun.
To buy waste management? What?
WMI. Look at DJXX popping nice. Wi-Fi! Boom! Heading towards the 29 target.
Yeah, look at
Here we go. Cerebrus hype picking up right now.
29 target may hit today.
29 over 29. It's gonna go over. It's gonna break the Monday high. That's my forecast here. We're gonna break 29.
Yeah, you know what the moves I've really been missing out on this name, which Izzy's been crushing, is Jobby.
Yeah, I know. That's fine. Can't be everywhere. I don't
No, I
like
know.
trading. I don't like it. It's not my
I'm
thing.
liking what I'm doing right now because I'm like been laser focused on a few names and just been
Yeah.
like constantly trading around the core there. It's worked out amazing.
Yeah, man, I'm gonna have to take big losses on EOSC here. Just focus on what's working. That sucks. Taking losses. Didn't fully sell out yet. It was just maybe I should fully sell out here on EOSC. Jeez. Damn. Yeah, it doesn't fit into I know about Joby because
Arm and SoftBank had tried to buy Cerebrus.
okay.
But they failed, I guess.
They're just too pre-revenue for me, Joby. I mean, I don't know. I guess you can make that argument for ASTS, but I don't know. To me, Joby's more speculative. Like, there's demand. That there's demand for a direct-to-cell phone.
Oh, in the partnership,
and you can model it. Yeah, you can model it. Joby, I don't know what the future is going to look like with flying cars. I don't know. There's a lot I don't know. So it's relative to me, Joby, yes. But in general, I don't like even trading. I don't trade Oklo. I don't like trading stocks that are. I don't trade quantum names because I don't like trading stocks that are years away from profitability. It might do offerings at any time. It's not my thing. And sold all out EOSC for a big loss. That was my big mistake today. I was so stupid on that. Anyway, we'll just have to make it up with something else here. DGXX and Sats and Wi-Fi. Yeah, I've watched the Jetsons. I watched the Jetsons when I was growing up as a kid. Doesn't mean it's gonna actually happen like that. I don't know. So, yeah, I just prefer companies that are printing now and inflecting to profitability. Growing revenue, inflecting to profitability. Those are the stocks I like to trade. So if I miss out on a whole bunch of sectors, so be it. That's fine with me.
DGXX.
Sats pullback. Little sign of what's to come here with that Wi-Fi print, 100,000 block. I got RTX calls I'm trying to unload. Hopefully I can do that later today.
Oh, you never sold those. I forgot.
Yeah, I never sold those, and I think I'm going to have to sell them today. Watch this thing blow past the 20 DMA by end of the week, and I'll be selling them for a loss today.
That would suck.
I know.
It looks like it's set up to run, but I mean, it just keeps getting rejected.
But it's looked like that for 3 weeks. Every single week I've been trying to play the breakout, and it's failed.
Yeah. All right, Ben. It's we have 2 minutes left. Any closing remarks?
No. Everyone always asks me, do I have closing remarks? I just said everything. I talk too much, man.
Oh, hey guys,
do you have any closing remarks?
No, I have a call I got to take here really quick.
All right, let's go, guys. We'll talk to you guys later.
Take care, everyone.
Take care, everyone. See you at Story.